them and effectively just lock the ball in their forward line and kick goals. They're missing guys like Campbell Brown who played up there at various stages. And I'm not sure they're going to have that same ferocity and capacity to apply pressure. So it's a really big opportunity for Melbourne to do some damage, get the ball out of their forward line, out of their defence. But we're going to find out pretty early in the piece in this match.
We are indeed, and see if the Hawks serve it up in the first couple of minutes as they've done in previous games. They've won the last 6 over the Demons. We're ready to go at the MCG. Good Sunday afternoon crowd in too, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good crowd in the building. Jones on Young, an important player, Young, for the Hawks, because he just gives them that much absolute run.
Sunday afternoon, nothing wrong with the Yum Cha-Cha. Opportunity here, Jeddah of Melbourne. Look at Rioli, magnificent in defence. We're going to see a lot of him in different positions this year. Over goes Bruce against his old mob. Birchall's able to poke it out. Rioli fast hands. Ladson got it all to do. Balder version of Rick Ladson these days. And now the Hawks off halfback are able to kick through Stratton. There's wide, and Mitchell couldn't handle it in the air.
And as we mentioned, BT, Garland has gone to Franklin. Rivers is the one that's gone to Roughhead at the moment.
Centre wing. That southern stand side of the MCG. There's Jeddah quickly out of the area. Rioli's already had his third touch. Here's the skipper, Hodge. Familiar run off half-back. Not a familiar kick, but it works. And Burgoyne has an opportunity.
Bit of a mongrel kick going into the inside forward 50 there from Hodge, but Burgoyne, who actually started in the square, so looking to possibly have an impact up forward, a bit more forward play. Maybe we'll rotate with Rioli, who we see has had a couple of early touches floating through the midfield.
Well, there's so much pressure through midfield and even out of defence. I reckon if you're a kick away, you've just got to flood the side where the ball is, because the mongrel kick may be the kick of choice going into this era of floods.
3 goals last week. Burgoyne comes in, and there's a really good picture of the result. Just didn't quite get it as he had wished. And let's see if Melbourne are switched on and ready to play in this opening 15 minutes. An important game for them here. They need to win and show that they are an improved unit. They're going to go on. Here's Frawley.
Pressure's on.
He's welcome back. Kick was a little iffy under some pressure, but they handled the decision-making well out of defence. The handball, the hands weren't great there from Bale, I think it may have been, but he recovers it nicely. Sylvia on the toes, reasonably clean. Has got Jarrah, ignores that. Sends it long, forward bound, but 3 Hawks converge on the ball, and in the end they do as they wish. Gibson, normally a left footer, went with the right. Here's Burgoyne again. Mitchell loves the handball. The run of Gibson impressive.
Young's on his own.
Bateman looks in that direction, Jared. It's a nice kick.
Cyril when he gets there.
And just a little bit too far in front.
Hard to play perfect footy early in the match, but the Hawks applied enough pressure to win this ball back, but they just didn't stick the tackles. There was a couple in that passage of play, and there's Sylvia getting away from one.
Is that an area that Hawthorn are going to have to improve, Jared, their actual tackling?
I think so. Their forward pressure last week, BT, poor.
Yep. To keep the pace with the leaders, I guess, having unbelievable amounts of tackles at their forward end, the 2 or 3 best clubs in the competition. Frawley's kick not great. He did improve on that side of his game dramatically last year, earning All-Australian selection. Hodge over the top. Here's Young, one of the good runners for the Hawks, and he's really good at this as well. The kick, rough head, but off the ball. A free kick will go to Franklin. Play on is called. Can't miss from there. Roughhead gets it.
Well, I'd like to have a look at the replay because I was following the ball, not Franklin v. Garland. But the umpires have pinged in. Let's have a look on the right-hand side of the screen here. There it is. And very difficult to tell, but based on what we saw, it looked as if Garland was imposing on Franklin, but you don't see what happened just prior to that, no. Jono.
They've actually been niggling. Franklin's been trying to dictate that contest. He's been bumping Garland, trying to take the initiative over the defender, and that may have happened in that passage where then Garland got a bit frustrated and held on. But the thing was, he was facing away from the ball.
Cyril is off to a fly. He's had 3 touches early in the piece. He's going head-to-head with Sylvia at the moment.
Dean Bailey preferring the stand attitude to coaching. Renouf doing his best to soccer off the ground, was going to take anything in his way. Out wide, Franklin. Have a look at this. Time to size it up. Had a really good look. Got plenty of the kick. Missed. He had definite intentions there.
More pressure required at that centre clearance, so that one was just bulldozed forward, and it doesn't matter how you get it out. If you ended up with in Franklin's hand, it's a win.
Oh boy, took a little too long to get rid of it. Now Burgoyne's got it all to do if he's clean. Here comes Cyril. Have a look at the handball under pressure. Did well in the end, Jeddah. Gee, under enormous pressure.
Lucky not to be punished then, the D's.
Well, they've focused on Hawthorn. I think the whole footy world knows this is the hardest kick in footy. Melbourne haven't been great at it. They've just got to find a target or get the long option. Liam Jarrah for mine.
Gee, a young player for the Gold Coast last night, for Carlton. In fact, Matthew Watson did it really well in his first game. It's an important skill. As you say, here's Roughhead. Free kick his way.
Hawthorn 9-2 contested possessions.
Here comes Franklin into the pocket. Got to beat a couple. And you'll have to do that all day.
BT, that kick was for Lyndon Dunn. He's a pretty good solid mark, but behind him 5 metres was Liam Jarrah. Wouldn't you just go the longer option to the freak of a mark?
Absolutely. Jamar just pushed to the second spot. An opportunity here for Shields. And you see the D's who are just under enormous pressure at the moment. The Hawks are bombarding that into the ground, and the D's haven't really had a decent look in their 50 at the moment. Been playing Tesriol. He just slipped as he went to kick it. Travels along the ground. Garland got to handle it. They've got to rush it through. David King, the signs early don't look good for the Demons.
No, they don't, Brian. They haven't got any forward structure at the moment. So even if they win that ball at 60 from their defensive goal, they've just got no targets, no options. Jarrah playing virtually as a defender at the moment, that end of the ground.
Yep, kick back into play. Jamar, did he infringe? Umpire said yes, and that'll probably be 50 as well. No, he's going to let him off here.
Melbourne are so spread with that zone. They've got to start working together a little bit. Maybe pair up so they can actually try and get this ball outside of Hawthorn's forward 50.
Damage is yet to be done, though.
It is.
Shields takes Sylvia on, gets around him pretty easily. Horrible kick, though. Now Frawley at his toes. Boyd panicked a little bit with the handball there to Green, I thought. Picked up by Buddy on his wrong side. Gives it off to Bateman. He goes around one. On the left, around the corner. Turned it too much.
Well, you're right, Jared. 7 inside 50s to 1 at the moment.
No damage just yet.
No damage yet.
Surely the long option this time.
So that in itself, a let-off.
That's a nice kick. Good selection.
Now, this is the thinking part of the game, where they've got to think their way through what is very heavy traffic.
We've got the numbers on the boundary here.
Yep, Hawthorn imposing this zone here, and it's at ground level very confusing because it doesn't look like you've got any space. From our perspective, and the one you're seeing at home, it looks a touch easier. Green. The back done. Now Davey, they love it in his hands, and that's why.
And that's a perfect example of working your way through the zone. I mean, Melbourne are capable of doing it. Got to just have the patience and not give it away by handball.
There's Jamar, didn't hold it long enough. Maloney there. But it was a good example of that, Gerard. They were very patient, and now they have an opportunity at their forward end.
Jen, I think sometimes the Demons over the last few years have tried to handball their way through the zone. I think they're much better equipped if they do it a little bit slower and kick it.
Bale off hands magnificently, hits the post.
Would have been a great start for Bale there. He's got a job on Sam Mitchell. If you can go forward and get a goal on him early, you can tick it off. For a kid like Rowan Bale, who's only been around a couple of years, up against the champion of the game, that would have been a ripper.
Yeah, playing on a gun who had plenty of it last week. Have a look at Hodge here, a bit of a party trick. Boy, getting into a bit of trouble. And eventually they get out of it, but not the way they would have liked. In goes tackle. Bale again upended in the tackle. Another occasion by Hale, David Hale, of course, ex-North Melbourne.
Good signs though there for the Demons. I mean, their press was working just as well. They'd be disappointed that Hodge was able to barge his way through because they had it, but he was forced to rush a kick.
Rioli doing the ruck work. Guess what? He can even do that. Savage, nothing he can't do. And free against Roughhead will go to Grimes, who was impressive again last week. Jack Grimes, game 28 for him. Little one around the corner. Scott Long ball 50, up they fly. Man in front is paid, and Hodge.
Sizzle's a good man.
Beautiful kick to Rioli as well. Rioli just faked it in the air then, got his opponent slightly off guard, and they're out of the loop. Burgoyne. Rioli again having plenty of it and using it superbly. Franklin's going to bomb long. No, he pulls the kick. It's a good ball to Hale. Well done, Hodge. Rioli, Franklin. Hale to finish.
Rioli's got to be looked at. Hodge has got 6 off half-back, so he's going to be the architect. He's on the Melbourne skipper, Brad Green, so Green's just going to have to become defensive, even though he is a key goal kicker for them, Jono. But this, the big issue is who is going to man up Cyril Rioli. Demons' key midfielders don't generally go man-on-man. They like to play wide. Well, Cyril's chopping them at the moment.
I think Bartram's the man to go there.
David Hale, second game for his new club, and it's tight and offline again, so another let-off for the Demons.
You mentioned before the game, in one of your keys was kick straight. 1 goal 6.
Yep. Hasn't been the usual suspects, though, that have offended on today. Another smother by Burgoyne again from the play-on from full-back. 2 of those. Osborne around the corner. No thought of the goal. Melbourne players almost collide.
Haven't seen it before for a long time, BT. 3 smothers, I think, from kick-outs in 7 goes.
Definitely have another look at that later in the day. Here is Watts. Half-back, centering ball, risky, but Bartram's there. Now, once again, the thinking part of the ground. We like the mixture of handballs and kicks from here. They've got it to the kicker. He is dynamite, isn't he?
Great kick.
Have a look at that to Dunn.
Goal coming.
Green, and this way well set up a goal. Pettit goes inside. Dunn will finish. Punt road end. That is just splendid football. Aaron Davey, take a bow.
Super goal. Super goal. And all started by getting the ball and taking a risk, coming back through. But we'll see the smother here, as you mentioned, and they're lucky that
he's had his foot over the line as well by about 3 or 4 centimetres.
But this is the kick, Jared.
That's the kick. It just cleared, ironically, Cameron Bruce's head. It was a brilliant kick, and this is the move. The cut inside in between Hawthorn players. Excellent work there by Ricky Pettard, smart player. And good camera shot to follow the ball through the sticks.
That's what we talked about in the pre-game, Jared. That ability to play basketball, that transition that Melbourne have got so effective off half-back. Davey is the architect off their half-back line, but they can go coast to coast, the D's.
Kingy, you've got to love watching. He was right in front of you, Davey, there. It's just magnificent with the foot skills, isn't he?
Oh, even some of the players didn't know where he was going. Fantastic execution.
Sylvia out of the middle. An opportunity for Bennell. Turns around, faces the goal. Watts doubled back on his man, lost him in that action there momentarily. Gillum did well. Birchall, Gibson, funny little kick. And they move it on again, the Hawks. Get it out wide, and Sewell wants to go down the line. One of the runners, Birchall, has found some space here. No one within 35 metres when he took that mark. The kick is perfect to another guy that can kick it. Young looks for someone coming by, eventually encourages someone to come, and it's the man that started it all, Birchall, to Bateman. Bateman spins to the middle, and Young, gee, are they getting at the hands of the good foot users?
Yeah, sloppy start, sloppy business there from the Demons. They had to know that when Bateman took that mark on such an acute angle, he was going to look inside. And they were actually in recovery mode, Jono, when the kick came.
They were, and that's part of the issue is these guys that have got it now. Young touched it a couple of times from that passage of play. Block his run. If he gets that one kick away, step in his line and don't allow him to run on.
BT, it is infectious. It started early and it's going right through the team. And he's such an important player for them. You stop Young, you often stop the connection between defence and the forward line for the Hawks.
Heavy flutter in the flags, David King. I think you mentioned that, didn't you?
Real swirly down here, Brian. I can see why they're 1 goal 7 at the moment, the Hawks. It's really tough conditions. It doesn't look that way, obviously, with the flag swirling and maybe pushing straight down the ground, but it's a swirler, Brian.
Kick down the field there for that misdemeanour. Means Melbourne get a free lick at it from half-back, and trying to stand there was Pettit. Here's Bale against 3 Hawks. Where's his support? Gibson did really well with the extraction process. Now the original extractor, Mitchell's got it all to do.
Nick.
Savage will get the free.
Well, here's the dominance. 62 possessions to 40 for Melbourne, and yet they are trailing by just a kick on the scoreboard. But I think Dean Bailey would be really thrilled at the present time. He would know that they have, I guess, missed the board here at the present time. They could have been blown away, and Melbourne, if they can get to quarter time in touch, will be pretty pleased.
Osborne went into the pocket with that ball. Roughhead wanted it up the middle. And in the end, he was made to look like he was behind when he wasn't. In fact, that ball will land just in. And we'll throw it in front of the MCC members. You can see the ring of artificial turf around the outside of the boundary line at the G. Saving the curators a lot of trouble. Tours during the week come down onto the ground and use that area.
Nice extraction by Bale again.
Trengove, Watts, inside runner is Jones. Rioli read it absolutely perfectly.
That's costly. That is costly. What an effort by Cyril.
Suckling to Savage. Couldn't hold it. Important win here. Young's going to get on the end of it. He's got a lethal boot. He wanted to use it rather than give it wide with the handball. He now does. Franklin's one out. That's what he'd like, and that's why. Hands in the back.
I'd love to see a replay of that.
You reckon he held his ground,
I reckon
Johnny?
he held his ground from here. It certainly looked like that.
Here's Frawley. Dramatic improvement in his game last year. Goes down the line to a 2-on-1. Great get by Sylvia. The kick is not good. Now, he's run out of bounds when he played on them. I think Suckling. It is. Let's have a listen.
No play on call initially. Was there any play on? What did you see? Okay. From the play on call?
Well, I'm not sure when you call play on. Did he go in one action? So was he out of bounds and then after the round? Yeah. And he went in one action? Yeah. One direction? So still out of bounds. And then he took the play on. Was out of bounds. Yep. And kept running out of bounds. Then came into a straight line. Cool. Go with Buzz.
Oh boy, have you ever seen such an influence? Razor Ray Chamberlain steps in and says, if you two can't decide it, I will. And that's exactly what he did. Razor Ray, powerful. Boy.
Did they get it right in the end, though? That's
I think
the
they did.
question.
I think they did. I think Ray was right to use his influence.
His
Just
leadership.
watching Ray, boys. He'd come from 150 metres away then, Ray, to get involved.
He wanted to be involved.
He loves controversy. Have a look at it. He takes the mark here.
Goes to slow down.
But he's played on now because he's off the line. I don't know.
Yeah.
Line ball. Here's Davey anyway at the other end. And he's going to make them pay because he stuck that one right through the eye diddle. Melbourne respond.
Let's go through it in chronological order. Jono, you have called for this. Your wish is JJ's command down below. That is definitely a free kick. Good decision by the umpire. And here's the clearance.
What happened to him?
Oh, Davey just gets it and kicks a magnificent goal. Have you ever seen a drop punt go so perfectly as that in slow-mo replay? Magnificent.
So Melbourne have got out of jail here, Jono. They've kicked accurately, and as a result against a team that's done the opposite, they're in the game.
That's it. They're just making the most of their opportunities when they do go inside 50. Only been in there 6 times and had 3 scoring shots.
Interesting to have another look at that controversial out of bounds. I thought if you actually played on in one direction.
And that's what Ray Chamberlain was saying, wasn't he? He was trying to say to the umpire, did he make one move?
Which is what he
The
looked to
central
me to do.
umpire has to call play on. If he did that, then it's out of bounds.
I reckon he ran on a slight arc. There you go. But is that regarded as one move? Mitchell's ball was smothered by Bale, who's been really a good touch in this game. This is an important mark. Rioli did really well against the taller J-Mar. Really good play, Cyril. Opportunity, Renouf out the back. Here comes Green. That's a throw, I'd reckon. Umpires let it go, though. Tidied up by Stephen Martin. And Davey just needs to get it to the line. He'll get a free, so it's a bonus.
I reckon Bateman just wanted to hurt him there then.
Big momentum swing, and it's come because of Davey.
The use of Davey's foot today has been simply superb. Jarrah benefits.
Combination of Davey's accuracy with his foot and the Hawks poor use of the foot skills has got the Demons right in this game.
Liam Jarrah hoists the ball high. It's a 1-on-4. No hope from behind Jamar there.
On fire.
Cyril everywhere, Gerard. Just getting it done everywhere at the moment is Cyril Rioli. Free kick will go Melbourne's way.
He went hard.
Bale has been really good. Goes wide with a kick, and Bartram would be protected here, and he was. His attempts to mark around the corner now. Jones. Need to be patient still here, not blaze away. Now he goes deep, but Jamar didn't come. He went to Watts. Have a look at that.
Oh.
Watts has beaten 3. 2 in the air and probably 2 on the ground.
Well, it relied on the skill of Watts, but the kick couldn't have been better for him. He put it up above his head. He knew he was on, had some space in front. So this has been a fantastic 4 or 5 minutes by the Demons, and if this one goes through, we're going to have an unlikely leader at quarter time, given the result at the start.
Have a look at that.
Super strength then.
Beat 3 in the air.
He just came way too late. Did Brent Renouf at Ruckman. Had to read it a bit earlier.
Jack Watts for a Demon lead. Not more than 20 in it. There's the angle. Watts lets it go. Demons goal in front. Remarkable football. Efficiency plus for the Demons.
Well, it's a great set shot. Is Jack Watts, and that was evident there. That was clinical in the way he approached and just eased the ball through. It was a perfect kick. But I'm more impressed by that mark there against 3 opponents. Just shows the work that he has done over the summer. And from what I hear, he's had a fantastic pre-season. That he's just added that bit of strength, especially through the hips, because he was able to push back and take a very strong contested grab.
Well, they've done what they've set out to do here, David King, the Demons, and that is to just make sure that Hawthorn don't get the jump on them like history has said they do.
Offering a real contest in the forward line. The last couple of times the Hawks have tried to exit their back 50. The pressure's been enormous, and they've got those rebound, repeat inside 50. So they look good at the moment, the D's.
Centre square infringement here. Will be a ball up for the bad bounce. Yeah, rebounds. Razor Ray just loving the way he goes about his work here. Throws it up. Roughhead into the ruck to give the boys a spell. Stephen Martin powers it out, goes in the Watts direction, but Ladson getting in the way. And a 50-metre penalty against Aaron Davey here. I think he touched him after he'd taken the mark. And as a result of 50, this will mean Ladson will kick inside 50.
We've got plenty of height there.
He does now. He goes for Franklin. Franklin's got a better couple. One in front, one back. That's a beautiful double team. A classic double team from Melbourne. Really well done. Now Roughhead to try and make amends. Got it to Young. Young goes long and deep. Hails the target. He's never in the right spot. Was he manhandled? Umpire said no. Fair enough. Sylvia, Frawley. Risky kick. Got it though. Wasn't it a great double team? Jarrah.
Got him running forward now. Sylvia looking dangerous.
He wanted Pettit to come to the ball, but instead Trengove goes wide, but Rioli was reading it like a book. Have a look at that.
Stiff Trengove.
One hand with the tackle, the other controlling the ball. Mitchell a little slow getting rid of it. Here's Jarrah with a low ball. Jamar couldn't get around. Bit of a foot race here now. Gillam involved. Did well. Bit of poise showing there, and eventually just a moment of rest for both teams.
Haven't seen Liam Jarrah kick on his non-preferred before.
No. First time I've seen it, I reckon, as well. He possesses the skill, so that's a good sign. Gibson got the hard-running Stratton here. Hawthorn hammer it forward again in the Franklin direction. This time he's in front and he receives the free.
Tell you what, this is a fantastic duel.
It is a great duel, and that's why we spoke about before the game with Alistair Clarkson about trying to get Buddy into one-on-one contests. So this instance he was able to win that. He's going to win 9 out of 10 of these, but it was the one before where they kicked to a 2-on-1 where he's got absolutely no chance.
Yep.
Just seems at the moment, Brian and boys, like he's happy to stand body to body instead of run and cover the ground like he normally does, Buddy.
Haven't seen him up the ground at all, have we?
Garland comes in. It's a good look at what stands in front of him. Good looking kick, isn't it? Magnificent coming back and just off to the right hand side. King, are you insinuating that you'd like to see him move more, or are you happy for that stationary one-on-one?
No, I'm happy for that. I think he's got control of this matchup at the moment. It is a tough duel to win against Buddy Franklin, I know, but I think he can operate closer to goal. If he parks himself 20 from goal rather than 45, 50 from goal, I think he can cash in.
Here's Jones.
Even that kick from Davey then had a little bit of work on it.
Peddard at the back of the pack did well over the top.
And that's a win. I think every club in this era is happy to have a stoppage 70 metres away from their goal. They can start again. Pretty much a neutral ball. Marginally in favour of Hawthorn.
It breaks that zone up that they set up for in the kickouts.
Here's Ladson doing some nice work. Got it off here. Burgoyne dashes away. Sets his sides from 50. Long, heavy ball. Burgoyne's got it.
Well, he is a magician, a genius with the footy. But this wasn't really all that clever. This was just fantastic, basic footy. A long kick from on the 50, straight through the middle of the goals. He got it from the clearance. Moved, evaded a couple, and that's just the kick that they wanted. If they had about 5 more of those in this quarter, they'd be 25 points in front.
Some good, classic, stylish footy being played through the main part of the ground at the moment. Some lovely kicking, some great skills, Burgoyne and Rioli, and some tenacity from Bale on the other hand.
It's been a huge moment, though, in this game, BT, for mine, and that was Jack Watts' mark. You know, we've seen him do a lot of good things, but that was senior footy type stuff.
It was.
When he took that mark, holding back 3 players, it's a significant moment for me in his development.
This is not good for Ray. 2 in a row. Sam Mitchell, the former captain, has said, Ray, perhaps get someone else in here just to give you a chop out. He is normally an excellent bouncer. They've got a bit of bad turf in there. How's that for a get out? Opportunity now with Buddy. Paddled it deliberately in front of Bruce then.
It's always tough when you play against your old side for the first time, and a couple of fumbles from Cameron Bruce. That one hasn't run for him so far. He'll be feeling some heat at the moment.
Well, the mismatch in the air was because Buddy's man was on the mark in that kick then, and Buddy had moved forward. He's been pinned here.
I think he expected a trip then because I think it was Dave. He did have hold of his leg at one stage in that tackle.
Maloney wanting to go on with it here. I'd suggest that Maloney just get going. You've got hold of the ball, and Lyndon Dunn wants someone forward of it.
Sylvia worked hard then across centre forward. Dunn just couldn't get it to him.
Dunn.
The one bloke who hasn't had an impact, and they've actually pushed everybody up and left him alone in the goal square, is Liam Jarrah.
Yep.
And Gibson's looking awfully nervous down there, like he should.
He's gone deep, Liam, and he knows the modern trend is to kick it in long and quick to the one-on-one, and he's almost salivating down there as Liam.
The upside for Melbourne at the moment is Jamar's only touched the ball once, so he hasn't really worked into this game
He
yet.
heard you, Jono.
Gee, this guy's looking more impressive too, Stephen Martin. And we can work it wide here to Bale, who's got Rioli for company. Did well to keep it alive. Rivers sees it over the line. And as we take a look of a bit of Aaron Davey and Buddy action. There's a UFC move.
That's why he stopped, expecting the free kick, and it went against him.
Hodge. Boundary line would be a winner for him there.
Well, Cyril Rioli, Kingy, is sitting 30 metres on his own. He's had 12 possessions in this opening term.
That's the new midfield vogue, Jared. Midfielders get plenty of room to work in. I think him and Davey are the ones that I'd be clamping in a heartbeat.
Well, they've just pushed Bartram onto him, although it looks like Bartram wants to kick chase. I reckon he should just do a stop job for a moment.
Young hovers over the ball. Now he's going to have to get rid of it. He did. They've been hot on that list of the umpires. Now Mitchell's got a free there because he got collected high. Certainly made sure the umpire saw it. Ray Chamberlain's going to say a free kick to Sam Mitchell as a result. Bit of a whack in the head there. There's the Bartram-Rioli matchup. So late in the quarter, Hawthorn just the point in it, under a minute remaining in it. Roughhead, the moving target here, didn't get it over the top, and a free kick will go the way of Melbourne. And Bruce Wasn't even sure he was going to receive the kick, and he didn't in the end. Now Frawley will go wide, and just tell he's not confident with the kick. Lyndon Dunn dropped it. He just sort of pokes it at jittery. Lyndon Dunn disgusted with himself. Really good Sunday evening crowd in here at Melbourne. Of course, daylight saving ceased in Victoria this morning. And thus,
it's always a bonus.
Well, it is for some, yes. Jared. There are many that would say the opposite. Some discussion in Victoria that we might go full-time daylight saving.
It's always just a bonus the first time you wake up with the extra hour.
It was good this morning. It was really good.
Other farmers, etc., have their issues, but
Lodge.
Unless you caught the red eye home last night.
Oh, well, John, that's part of being a newcomer to Fox. Rivers has got a free.
Great game of footy.
It is.
It's a beauty.
Really, really intriguing stuff. Tactical, physical, lots of great skills. Even Razor Ray is making it rather entertaining. It's 2-8-20 the Hawks, 3-1-19 the Demons. That can just all of a sudden happen for you. It's a confidence thing. What they need is they need one directly in front, go back, easy conversion. All of a sudden it can start again for you. That's all they need. The trouble was in that first quarter, it was spread over a number of players. Here we go. Hawthorn by a point. Start of the second quarter. Very entertaining contest. Maloney. Good tap from J-Mar. High ball. Here's Jarrah. Went early. Now Sewell. Around the corner. Did well with the kick to Franklin. Sewell to follow the work. Shrugs one. Got the two. Really well done, Brad Sewell. Burgoyne through traffic. Here's Sewell again. Excellent work. Tough as nails.
Not a bunt from the Demons there.
Yeah, it was. Now Birchall comes in to try and mop things up, and Maloney's happy to just introduce him to the perimeter piping.
Yeah, it was Jack Rhines. He had to put a tackle on.
Now Shields gives it off here to Savage. Around to Franklin.
At the handball in the right hand, buddy. 2 goal conscious.
Bartram now. Handball's off, involved his Jetta in the play as well. Back with Bartram. He waits for Maloney to go, and a bit of indecision there. Have a look at the free kick as he got helped over the boundary line by Maloney.
Just a little nudge.
Fair enough, though.
Enough, yep.
Yep. And the shot at goal here.
On the inside there. There's the handball to Shields. And elected to go to his left foot. Didn't even think about the handball. Needs to add that to his game.
Hawks to the punt road end, left of screen end in this second quarter. Free kick to J-Mar. Hold against Renouf.
And Rioli starting on the bench.
Here's Davey.
Hawks just going to ease him into the quarter.
The wrap around and the kick is once again just naturally perfect. Sylvia. Jones caught behind. The punch was impressive, though. Gave Dunn a chance. Have a look at this. Somehow Green got by himself in amongst 2 Hawthorn defenders.
Well, Kingy made the point at quarter time, and it's spot on. Ledson is working on Davey, or trying to work on him and then work off him, but you just got to understand he is going to get that wraparound kick. Set up Sylvia. Now there's a shot at goal.
And a good man to have it. In fact, probably the best that Melbourne can supply. Brad Green directly in front, and that is why Melbourne hit the front by 5 points off the boot of Green.
You spoke about in the first quarter about the mongrel kick, pretty much going inside 450. Just get it in there long at times, doesn't matter how it gets in there. And Green was actually there for quite a while. He worked in behind the zone and was able to take a mark uncontested in the end. So Hawthorn will have to have a look at that.
Jeez, it was a month too.
It's just getting it on the boot and getting it in there long.
Jared, I watched Ladson versus Davey then when the mark was, or the free kick was awarded at half-back. He stood right next to him, Ladson, and then he allowed him to wrap around the back and had no respect for picking him up. That's what created that goal. That's what ignited Melbourne into that thrust. He needs to be diligent to go with him the whole way.
Yeah. Surely they've got to know, David and Jared and Jono, that every time Melbourne have a set play in their back half, they're trying to get the ball to Aaron Davey no matter what.
And if you were tagging him, that'd be the one thing that you'd be recognising.
Absolutely. Just deny him the ball.
As a team, though, you need to stop that.
Yep, Renouf. Opportunity outlined just here with the Demons, and that's Tapscott.
Just growing in confidence, Melbourne. Hawthorn have created a real problem for themselves.
He's had it 7 or 8 times, Tapscott, and they haven't caught him once, so must have been while Jared was talking. Here's Sylvia. Either that or got bad eyes. Here's Osborne going forward now, one-on-one. Rough-headed is, doing well with Frawley. Got the good body position, couldn't hang on. And an out of bounds.
That could have been nasty. It ricocheted off something very close to someone's nose, but I think it might have been high chest.
Hawthorn forward 50. Jamar the front again, doing really well in that position. Roughhead, nice move, gave it off. Shields involved, picked up around the corner here. Osborne got plenty of it.
Let's have a look from behind the goals. Aaron Davey, what David King is saying. See, Ladson going one way,
Yep.
right of screen.
Yeah, it's
it was
great
the
vision, isn't
double
it?
duck back.
That is great vision of what David King was referring to. Fantastic. Here's Watts, judged it beautifully. Handball into Trengove. Now Davey on his wrong side, so he works back onto his left. And look at that, amongst 3 Hawthorn players, only he can find that gap. Bale to Watts. Watts goes wide to Jones.
Bale could well be having his best game of footy right now.
Best game I've seen him play for sure. Jared goes out wide, haven't seen them all. Here's Sylvia. 70 from home. Quickly back to his feet. A thrusting ball goes to Trengove. He marks, plays on immediately. Here's Jarrah on the lead. Perfect precision football from the Demons. Why would he want to play on from there?
I think it was a late call on the whistle. Yeah, it was a late whistle because he did fumble a little bit, had some doubt in his own mind. Terrific work from Bale, and then the precision skill going forward. They've got some worries now, the Hawks. They could have had this game in their control at quarter time, but right now they may have a problem at halftime.
Sylvia's kick was great to Trengove, and he followed it up with an even better one into Jarrah.
Liam Jarrah with a kick that he should be able to make to extend the margin for the Demons. Nice fluent run up and just a beautiful, casual, controlled kicking action. Magnificent Jarrah.
I reckon everyone who's having problems with their goal kicking, from Nick Rewald down to the youngsters, should look at this bloke. What he doesn't have in his arm is tension.
He's relaxed.
He is so relaxed. He's a rubber man. And you see so many guys who are great kicks through the midfield, like a Nick Rewald, get their arms and they're tense. The ball almost wobbles out of their hand.
It becomes unnatural in a sense. That action there and Watts' action, it's just a natural, fluent action. When you try and do too much, you just complicate things too much.
Jared, that was virtually Jarrah's first lead from the goal square at the ball. He's been running back with the flight, but he looks far more comfortable coming at the ball.
Well, they're playing him up on the half-forward line, and Jack Watts is playing deep, so I guess by extension you'd like to see that reversed.
Out of the middle we go. Hawthorn's extractor Mitchell is very good at that.
That's the one that Bale has to stop. He's got to get in between his opponent and the ball.
There's the run of Martin over the top. Realised that he wasn't the best kick there and gave it to Sylvia, who's very good, using the advantages they have. Now an opportunity with Bennell. High ball in they go. Jamar. Lovely football. Conscious of who does what well, Melbourne, and using those skills perfectly for the benefit of Jamar.
And it was Bennell's kick there, Jared. He just put it to the spot. Jamar ran from the centre of the ground, floated in behind the defence, came back at it. The Hawthorn ruckman Roof actually worked quite hard with him, but it was the kick in the end. He just could not stop it.
Yeah, it was a brilliant kick, but I tell you what, the reason Jamar is such a good player now, All-Australian last year, his work rate was fantastic to get forward.
Jamar to put the icing on the cake and make it a 16-point differential, and he does that with comfortable ease. Melbourne by 16 points. A mini break in this game. Are we seeing the rise and the making of the Melbourne Football Club here right now?
Could well be, BT. Coming into the match, it was always that sort of weekend for Melbourne. And I think, Kingy, I'm liking what I'm seeing at that side right end of screen, which is giving a bit of a lie, I think, to you gave the boys a chop out for their misses, the Hawks. Doesn't seem to be too blustery down that end at the moment.
No, confidence is a wonderful thing with kicking, but just looking at their forward line, this quarter they've only gone inside 50 the 4 times for 3 goals, and Brian touched on it. What they do is bat to each other's strengths. Just then that ball was weighted perfectly for the big ruckman to make his way into the ball.
There's a concerned Hawthorn box looking on, but they'll know that they're still well and truly in this game.
They've made a really good move here, though. Burgoyne's gone to full forward. Buddy's up on the wing.
Melbourne need to really work through that because they've got Trent Grove sitting at full back at the moment. They need to start trying to release him back up towards the midfield.
There's Bateman on the wing. He's out wide, and now Hawthorn go into attack once again. Roughhead the target. Got pushed out of the way there, and now it's at the back of the pack. Did well to control the ball on that occasion, Grimes.
Might just get another look if we can at Jared Roughhead there. There's no way that Jared Roughhead should get buffeted off a ball. That was his. That was a goal for him. And yet he got outdone for strength.
Bartram now. Melbourne have been good in this area from half-back to half-forward where they've thought their way through. This one's going to go to a contest. It was a good one. It was a 2-on-1 initially, and J-Mar was involved, so the odds are pretty good there if you're a demon. Now Pettit is hammered over the boundary line.
He's involved. It's a push in the back.
Stratton tries to get back on the ground. Now Pettit goes one again to a 2-on-1. Liam Jurra has a bit of a look, launches himself. Couldn't find anybody to jackknife his body further into the air there. Ladson's kick is held up somewhat by Jeddah. Now Stratton. Bale through the middle of them. Puts it into the pocket. J-Mar may well get this. Can't keep it alive.
Let's go back to the other end of the ground. Jared Roughhead from mine had a real opportunity here. He's up against Frawley, who's got some strength, but Roughhead's just got to be able to buffet him out of the way. That was his. In fact, it was Jared Rivers. He should have just eaten him.
Bateman went and got it. Suckling is now under extreme Aaron Davey pressure. It's a dangerous Melbourne here at the MCG today. Looking for their first win of the year. Of course, drew with Sydney last week. Here's Gillum exercising a beautiful kick out in front of Burgoyne. He's got nothing in front of him at all. That's why he went backwards. So if you're wondering, he had not one Hawthorn player in front of him there. Now Roughhead kicks to the space, but Garland gets back. Goes wide looking for Jurra. He's got to beat Suckling. Stood there and used his body brilliantly and then just hammered him on the ground to Sylvia. Good give to Bartram. Rioli's had to quiet his quarter after a blistering first quarter. I'm not sure how long he's been on the ground in this quarter.
Pretty good job there from Bale once again. Left his man to go on to Brad Sewell.
J-Mar magnificent over the back to Trengove, and through that traffic they go. Sylvia just sends that one high, and a 3-on-2 here for the Hawks. Good judgment, Gillum, and now Gibson. Mitchell.
Kick.
Could have gone the wide ball, as Gerard said. Used the corridor beautifully. Osborne result in middle kick. Ladson to Gibson. Gibson on his non-preferred right, goes out wide and finds Savage. Able to run, but he's being lured into that pocket. They now corral the chipping ball of Rioli. Martin got across in front of Roughhead, did well. Roughhead on the cover, though, at the ground level, smothered.
Good numbers back.
It is.
Numbers back.
It was about a 4-on-2 there. Did really well. J-Mar to Grimes. Grimes, a nice ball that he kept control of to Bartram. Could have easily blazed it out on the full.
Hands on hips. Hawks looking very, very weary, the Hawks.
Here they go again. It's Watts. Green can come over the top. Gillum did well to defend in front. Exciting stuff. Crowd enjoying it here.
You're right, hands on hips. They need to find a way. They need to dig deep. Same happened last week where they got put under a bit of pressure and things just fell away.
Bennell Gobbled up in the Mitchell tackle.
Hodge back on, boys, and they look more comfortable when Hodge is in their back line at the moment. They just look a bit rattled at the moment, the Hawks.
Gee, Stephen Martin arrived late and the ball favoured him magnificently in the bounce. Hawthorn here. Suckling gave it off to the man we just spoke about, Hodge, and Sylvia was able to hold his man Young in front of the ball. But
he was forced to kick Young quickly there because of the pressure that Jones brought to bear up in that forward line.
High ball, anyone's in the air here. Bernard ran past it. Hawks numbers around the ball here. Stephen Martin had a fresh airy. Burgoyne off the one step, dangerous, but got it to a good position here now. Rioli got dealt a head blow there.
She played for it beautifully.
Bartram versus Rioli's though.
James is down.
Quarter 1, Rioli 12 disposals, Bartram 3. Quarter 2, Bartram 5, Rioli 1. Here's Bruce, Shields, Mitchell. Sidestep good. Savage runs into Jeddah. He's able to shrug the tackle. High ball. Franklin's got a one-on-one. Now it's a two-on-one. Rivers sagged off beautifully. And Garland said, thank you. And we can see behind the play, Melbourne player down there.
Jones.
And Nathan Jones in the replay. Have a look at this. Have a close look here. And just a push to the solar plexus.
Just unexpected, must have winded him.
Caught him off guard. One of those hits that doesn't look all that much, just caught him in the right spot, obviously. Doctor's out there and it's giving him all clear and the grimace of pain.
They're the ones, every now and then you just don't expect a hit, so you relax yourself for 2 seconds and you cop one.
What happens here? Rioli took it in his own hands and said nothing yet, so I'll get it out. Jeddah. Jones paddles over the line.
Kingy on the full, didn't look like it to me, but
off his hand, didn't it?
Looked like it off his hand. Kingy, Hale's an interesting one. He just hasn't had an impact, needs to take a grab because they're so tall out there. I'm just wondering whether they've got the run to compete with Melbourne.
They need to either put him in the goal square or the ruck, Jared. It doesn't suit him across half-forward flank. He gets run off too easy, and I think they lack run at the moment. There's a lot of hands on hips.
Plus you've got Hodge, who's only had a limited preparation.
They're smelling it here, the Demons. The moment they get awarded a free kick, there's no sitting on the ground, there's no taking a long time to get rid of it. They just back onto it. Watts dropped a simple one, and now Young, if he goes back from there on the set shot, not paid because of the required journey, I think.
Since he let out off the hook there. Watts, he let off again.
He was, and his third attempt gets him a nice bounce over the top in the direction of Dunn and Hodge, and Hodge unlucky not to get a free there as the knees went into the back.
Sylvia off, Davey. He's had a rest. He's now at his most dangerous.
There's Bruce. Didn't quite get it off. Savage went with the hands rather than the body. Jones, Jeddah, through the middle, a bit of a zig and a zag, and here's Pettit on the lead. Got the Dukes out in front, and it went snugly into the fingers. Pettit winds up long. Here comes Jarrah. Jarrah's going to climb over the top if there's anyone there. He didn't need to. Played on with a risky handball. Green goal. Oh boy, wowee, look at that. Melbourne are away. Fans are happy.
BT, do you say to Liam Jarrah, well done for the handball, or as actually the CEO of the Full Forwards Union, do you ever handball where you're that far out if there's any slight risk?
Just a little tap there from Hodge. No handball, any risk in the goal square, Jared. You go back because you know why? You're going to be set on the straight angle anywhere in the goal square anyway, so it's an absolutely set shot from directly in front. Don't handball that.
Didn't need to handball it, but the work of Green there, just to get his body in between himself and Jarrah, just to change the direction and the run of the Hawthorn defender, which allowed Jarrah to mark the ball in the end.
Well, Ruffy just about could have spoiled the party. He's got a little hand on it. But this is really, really impressive from Melbourne.
It is a 20-point margin now as we get into the last 8.5 minutes of the half. Sewell out of the middle. Under plenty of pressure, no great direction. Savage kept his feet well and feeds it back inside to the running machine, Sewell. His kick was partially smothered. Osborne is 2-on-1. Maloney on the moment, giving it to Bale, then pointing to Bale where to go, and he goes to Trent Gove. He's got Watts over the top, won't probably get there, comes back in the middle now. Here's Bennell. Jamar's not looking, so Bennell says, I'm going to go myself for the handball to the run of Rivers. Impressive stuff. Little low ball here. Gee, that's nice football. Green to keep it alive. Didn't have the clean hands. Pettit with the backup. Green will get a second look at it. The left foot, don't forget. Magnificent. Missed.
Just take you through a couple of important stats. In fact, one, it's about kicking efficiency, and you can sometimes make your kicks efficiency stat look a lot better with little chip kicks like that. But forward of the centre, generally, it's very difficult to disguise it. Overall, the Hawks are well and truly down inside their forward 50. It's 58% efficiency to Melbourne 79. So they are hitting targets where it really counts.
79% efficiency. Very high indeed. Virtual. Stolen. Trent Gove ducks one tackle. He's got plenty of this on the right, and it's straight and it's a goal. Melbourne can do no wrong at the moment.
Super goal from Trent Grove. He had Bale on the inside, possibly for a handball. Mightn't have seen him. But just a great goal from a player who just keeps rising and keeps rising as this game goes on.
Alistair Clarkson not happy down here, boys. Just give Sam Mitchell a real good spray on the bench then. Just send him back on. He's going to go forward of centre. Looks like a half-forward flank, but not happy with the former captain.
D's have kicked 5-1 in the quarter to the Hawks 3 behinds. They've kicked all 5 goals of the quarter. And they lead by 27.
No, it's a pretty good scalp to Bale. I can see Mitchell's now gone forward. Jones is picking him up. He's there to kick goals. Jones has to lock onto him. It's got to be a team attack on Mitchell.
Probably should have been a rebound there. That ball went out of the outer circle.
So, Kingy, if you're coaching the Hawks, what do you do to get them back into this match? Clearly, they've got the capacity to kick 5 goals in 5 minutes, but they've got to win some footy.
Yeah, no run in the midfield at the moment. They look very flat-footed around the action. They're winning enough clearances, but there's no spread.
Here's Jones starting to get a bit of it. Watts in a direct one-on-one with Gibson. Gibson doing a good job at the moment. Watts hasn't given up, and that's probably a 0-0 draw there. Renouf just got collected there in the head by an accidental knee from Sylvia. Franklin now to the run of Ladson. Ladson thought about the kick, did well to Bateman. Now he's got plenty of time. He can straighten, take the foot off the gas, and he eked one through on the bounce. I'm not sure he meant that, but he got the goal, and it's one that Hawthorn really, really needed.
Well, he's one of their real runners. And last week we saw them exposed for run. I think it's their big Achilles heel going into this season. Have they got the genuine line breakers? Well, Chance Bateman's one. It was a mongrel kick. It was a lucky one, but he got away with it. But given that they haven't got a huge supply, Jono, of the runners, they've got to get maximum effort and performance out of the ones that they've got. Young has it, not had a great quarter. He had a brilliant first quarter. He's been curtailed. Bateman hasn't had a lot of it at the moment. We saw Hodge getting whacked in that hip, and he's complaining there at this stage about that knock to the hip. He may be in trouble.
Having seen the replay of Bateman, I'm convinced it wasn't what he meant in the kick. You could see Hodge, as George just points out. Look at this, out of the middle they go again, the Hawks. A couple before half-time would be handy for them. It's a 2-on-1. Osborne's got running support, gives the handball off. Bateman can make it 2 in 30 seconds and misses. Out of bounds on the full, can you believe it? From 10 metres out.
Started in the centre clearance. They've got to get better at that, Melbourne. Jamar clearly won the tap, but he hooked it straight out the back to a Hawthorn player. If you're going to win taps, they've got to go to their teammates so clearly.
Bartram, just the safety down the line. Hawks do well here. Bruce kept it alive for Shields. He goes around, gives it off. Bruce, high ball, rough head over the top. He was 4 deep. Frawley, Jones, fast hands Jones. Really good. It set it up for Trent Gove. Into the middle to Lyndon Dunn. Needed to keep it in front. Gibson did well. Mitchell, sneaky little handball, wasn't it? Good stuff. Birchall let it go. Hawks now starting to find some space. Ladson couldn't control. Got enough on it though to keep his feet to Gibson. Chipping ball from Gibson was meant for Bateman. And it went the wrong way. Bateman had led out to the south side.
Wasn't a great kick. He actually could have just had a shot at goal. It was there, it was open. But they've lifted a little bit here, the Hawks, Jono, and it's now the Demons' time to defend.
It certainly is. The Hawks are managing to get probably the last 4 or 5 inside 50s, and Davies trying to slow this down now to try and wrestle some control back and just keep possession for the next couple of minutes.
You've just got to be careful here to make sure they get it in the hands of a guy that can kick it. Here's Tapscott. The ball. Look at that. It was nice and finds Jeddah.
Super impressed with Tapscott. He wins contested ball. He's good in the air, and his use of the ball is very, very good.
Had 19 disposals on debut last week, has already got 15 this week. Trengove, control of the ball here for the Demons is so far impressive. We've got 4.5 remaining, and they're not going to control it for the full time, but I think it's more a momentary thing to say, look, Hawthorn just had a run on, and I reckon this takes the fizz out of what the Hawks were just doing.
And the thing with it, they're moving the ball forward, so if you chip it backwards, that's when you get closed up and you can get pushed right back to the goal square.
Hey, this is mature football from Melbourne to do what they've just done and take a bit of the steam out of the Hawks, who are mounting a mini comeback. 50 metres against Watts. He tried to block the kick sideways, and in doing so, gave away the 50.
Got to give credit to Clint Bartram. He was given the job on Cyril. Cyril had 13 a quarter time. He's had now 16, so he has really locked down on him.
Hawks outnumbering the Demons at most contests here in the last couple of minutes. Here's Young, he's a good user. Roughhead on the lead, right in the pocket.
And this is really the acid test. The Hawks just desperately need a goal. Ruffy's generally a pretty good kick, had some really bad moments last year, but these have just got to go through.
And I was glad to see that from Young, because generally you'll get the ball in that position, he'll either go with a really long kick, have a shot at goal, or kick it long to the goal square. To add that to his game was very good.
To get their second goal out of a good 5-minute patch for the Hawks, Roughhead, here he is. Kick on the way, has missed.
3 goals, 12 now, Jared.
Says it all, John.
It certainly does.
I think that swirl's gone to the other end, Brian.
Wouldn't mind having a look at the set shots in that 3 goals, 12 as well, if we can get that stat. But the swirl just goes from end to end. Here, Kingy, here's Trengove. Once again, they go into a bit of controlled mode here.
Jamar's in there.
And Martin's there as well. Good, aggressive leap at Martin. Out the back to Pettit. Now Maloney. The little chip in board. Got to come at it. Didn't. And Gillum did. Needed to come at the ball on that occasion. Bale. He just sort of waited in flight. Here's Hodge. Kick, not sure that was meant, but it arrived with Gibson. Gibson careful, watches to the middle to Rioli. They're very careful and watchful here, the Hawks. They're inching their way forward. Now they get it in the hands of the bomber. There it goes, the big bomb. Roughhead's there, got to be a couple. Big ride from Roughhead.
Not under Stephen Martin, just dropping back into the pack. He's improved as a player.
He certainly has, and you know, to stand under the high ball like that, knowing that the heat's coming, very courageous.
There he is, big David Hale coming across. He's got to find some footy. He's got to have an impact athletically as well. Oh, here's that fly. It was a big leap.
Was it what?
Nice work. Just provided a step ladder.
Rioli in amongst there. Gee, they've double-teamed that long bomb well, haven't they, the Demons, with one in front, one back. Look very impressive. Here they go again. An opportunity. Pettit has got it, fell over, no one forward, so that's why he hesitated to kick long. Sometimes you wonder why, and there is an answer in modern football, and that is that no one's there. Ball out wide. Back into the middle. Hale wasn't able to handle it. Really easy ball. Now Osborne with a run of Savage. Savage goes inside 50. Roughhead's got the perfect sit over the top there. both hands on it, didn't work for him. Tapp's got able to get it out of the danger zone momentarily. Hawthorn to reload at halfback. It's only a matter of time before they find their way through here, the Hawks.
They're getting set up fast break goal against. And that's why they just have to maintain control. They lose possession here, it'll be a goal at the other end on the fast break.
0 goals, 5 from set shots today are Hawthorn.
Here's the fast break. Can they make it?
Do you hear that, Jared? 0-5 from set shots. Can't make it. Roughhead's got the free.
Good tackle. Yeah, you can't win footy if you keep losing or keep producing that sort of form in front of goal, BT.
Did that ball bounce? The umpire said yes, it did.
But that's what it is. That's what it is, BT. Their last 3 kicks inside 50 or around 50, they've all hit the deck. So they've maintained possession, got some good run through the centre of the ground. The most important kick, the one inside 50, that's what's letting them down. Brad
Johnson all over it on Fox Sports Footy here. Live and exclusive at the G, and there's a hold, and the free will go. No, Ray Chamberlain set a throw, so Melbourne will benefit through Martin. Immediately to Jarrah. Jarrah just in front of where Dean Bailey is coaching. The bench about 10 metres to his right there.
Well, you'd be happy just to waste time if you were Melbourne. 17 seconds, 14 seconds, just hit the boundary.
There's Watts. Both gloves on it. Couldn't wind it in, though. And a very interesting half of footy so far. We're down to the last couple of seconds. I don't think there'll be any further score from here. Look at the stoppage. All weighted to the right side. Everyone on the right side of the ball. Hale doing well. Eventually stolen. Good half of football. Melbourne super impressive. The Hawks just started to get hold of it in that last 7 or 8 minutes. Dean Bailey would be relatively happy with the way his team controlled that mini run on from the Hawks as well.
Is it too early to substitute at half-time?
No, it's not. You can substitute.
I know that, but is it too early to give away the issue of the injury?
Come back to that in a moment. Let's go down to David King.
Down here with Brent Maloney. Brent, what are your thoughts on the game at the moment? Look like you've got a bit of control.
Yeah, look how pressure and intensity went up in that quarter, and that's why we kicked a few more goals and kept it in our forward half. So we want to regroup at half-time and come out again and do it all again.
Just control possession there for the last 5 or 7 minutes or so. Is that something the players called, or was that an instruction from the box?
Yeah, it's probably something the players called. Aaron Davey kicking out, the leader of this footy club, just said to control the game and try and keep possession of the footy and probably run the clock down.
Good luck, mate.
David King down there with Brent Maloney. Half-time, intriguing game. Stay with us. 3 goals, 13 Hawthorn. 31 points Melbourne, 8-2-50. That's a 19-point differential in favour of the Demons at half-time. Live and exclusive, Fox Sport Football on a Sunday evening.
BT, I do agree with the bigger picture, but maybe the bigger picture starts in the second half.
But if the margin is, say, the same as it is now at 19 points, surely you don't activate until very close to the third quarter anyway. But we're going to find out, because we now are in the third quarter and Melbourne have got the initial clearance. Sylvia high on the head of Lyndon Dadu, got knocked out of the contest by Hodge, and now Hodge has the ball to Gibson. Trimmed over and straight past him unusually.
Cyril starting forward, Bartram still with him.
Shields. Just a little stab of the ball to that man that Jared just mentioned, Rioli. Got it back inside to Bateman. Impressive run from one of their best runners, Osborne.
Okey-doke, they've done this for most of the game, worked it to this position, and then they've failed.
Let's have a look at it. 0 goals, 5 today from set shots are Hawthorn. This one is directly in front, a comfortable distance for him at 45 metres. Got the protection of the City End stand. In he comes, Osborne, stretching for the journey. 0 goals, 6 from the set shot, Hawthorn.
Jono, psychologically, do you think the coach would have said, I can't mention goal kicking because it'll make it worse? Or would he give him a burst and say, for goodness sake, or words to that effect, someone put a goal through?
Oh, I reckon he'd give him a bug. I reckon he'd be sick and tired of him getting to that sort of position and not being able to capitalise from it.
But there is an iffy decision, Jared. I agree with you. Sometimes coaches, it's a no-go zone because they can upset the confidence. Have a look at this from Big Boy Martin. Magnificent play from a big man. Kick wasn't fantastic.
He has saved his career, Stephen Martin. He was out the back door trying to become a defender, but he's got himself fit over summer. He's got himself stronger, and he's got himself a position, and that is as the secondary ruckman.
Now, BT, you just mentioned upsetting the confidence in terms of goal kicking, but we've got to look at things. These guys are men out here. Surely they can handle a bit of a bake in terms of...
And their confidence is not great.
Yeah, so...
Nice kick off the ground, which sets up Sean Burgoyne.
It does on the wing. Seagulls scatter.
He'd like a goal here, Cameron Bruce.
The run forward by that man. He's got time to straighten. Handball over the top to Cyril. It'll require some wizardry here. Back to Bruce on his favourite ride. Hawthorn get it. Back in business here, the Hawks. Back within 12 points. Lucky we didn't activate the sub too early.
Well, I don't think you'd be silly enough to activate it if you were only 12 points down, Brian. I'm not sure where you're going with that, but this was fantastic running by Cameron Bruce. He's had a stinker today. He has fumbled about 6 times, and he needed this. He has worked hard, but it just hasn't run for him, and that is exactly why he's been recruited to be another option off half-back, to go into the middle of the ground, to go onto the wing, and that is just a darn good goal to a bloke who's probably living with a few demons at the present time.
So well done to Cam Bruce, the start that Hawthorn needed, and you always get the feeling that this one is going to be reasonably close. Jamar.
Jones has been friendly fire.
Went with the hands as Jamar's injured behind play, and so is Jones, so they've come off with a double whammy there, Melbourne. Jones holding the right thigh. Been in some trouble today as we have a look at the replay. Went with the hands, Jamar, rather than the body there. Hale doing the ruck work. Did well. Shoveled it out to Shields, who was immediately tackled by a couple.
Real test for the Demons again. Hawks have taken control of the early part of this third quarter. The D's really need to get some drive going, and this is the man to maybe start it.
Franco through some traffic. Can he get rid of Garland?
Tackle.
Oh, he was taken down to the underarmers. Have a look at that.
He was backed.
Substitute down here, boys. They're going for some extra run, Brian. Jordan Lewis has taken the vest off. I think Renouf may be the one that they substitute.
Oh boy, have they gone too early. Gillum Marks in defence. I'm wondering why they need that, Kingy, at this stage when they're within 12 points and controlling the quarter.
I think he's got a neck issue, Renouf, from that.
So it's an injury activation.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, well, that's different.
Jordan Lewis onto the ground anyway. Fresh legs. Bit of energy and a 50. Just got to hold toughy now, the Demons, because the Hawks are coming, Jono.
They certainly are.
It's been a great game of momentum swings. Unfortunately for Hawthorn, they haven't been able to make the most of their momentum because of their inaccuracy in front of the sticks.
And I like this. Jamar's work down to the goal square. So often ruckman will just hang around with the opposition ruckman and not get down to the line to try and make an impact for the long ball in. We'll see if he can get to this.
Young from 55.
Fair kick.
0 goal, 7 from set shots now for Hawthorn.
Headline tomorrow will be Jono labels ruckman lazy.
Yes.
No, you just labelled him lazy and put my name on it.
There is the big man who's gone off, and doctor examining him. Talking to him, Damien Monkhurst, the ruck coach down there at Hawkland these days. The 0 goal, 7 from set shot for the Hawks. On the other hand, 4 goals straight from the Demons. There's a bit of difference just there. Kick back in board. G. Grimes dropped an easy chest mark. Should have had hold of that one. In goes Maloney, wrapped up in the Rioli tackle.
He's had a big day though, Jack Grimes. Good players. You assess them sometimes just on how they respond to having a poor day. Last week he made lots of mistakes, but his efficiency today has been quite superb.
On the dangerous Burgoyne as we speak. Maloney caught in the tackle. Rough head. There's Lewis, the fresh man. Opportunity, left foot around the corner, kicks it out of bounds on the full. Jared was hoping for a goal there from the substitution. Melbourne supporters, look at them packed in here today. Loving the fact that their team is now competitive. Here's Jara. Went early again and did a forward roll with an unusual landing. Kick back inside 50. Hawthorn controlling this at the moment, make no mistake. Garland, they need to just have a bit of control ball, the Demons. Up they go. Hale knocked it down to Hodge. Did he have the ball? Did he dispose of it? Now Sylvia. The chase by Savage got him.
Good pressure from Savage.
No one forward of the ball there for Demons for Sylvia. Only Hawthorn players.
Still same picture, isn't it? Hawthorn controlling it but not scoring. Melbourne to go forward, kick a goal.
Bartram impressive. No one in front of this ball at the moment. Now there is. Jetta can go over the top. Here's Bale. Bale can go deep in there to Pettard. And he takes the mark. 25 out. Difficult angle.
5-1 this quarter inside 50s. And Melbourne can extend their lead with a decent shot at goal.
That shot there to make it 5 set shots straight for the Demons.
And you're right, Jared, you called it. In the first quarter, the Hawks dominated like they have in the start of this quarter, and Melbourne went down and were able to pinch a couple of goals. And they've got an opportunity to do the same thing here.
Pettard, and he comes. Hunt Road end, southern pocket, bends back. How good is that? Used the wind brilliantly. Thought it had no hope. He knew what he was doing. He could feel the elements.
Rebound footy, Kingy. You suggested that was the great strength in the pre-match, and this is where it all started.
Well, they're prepared to run and carry the ball, the D's. That's the one thing that is standing out at the moment. And they go right through the corridor, right through the heart of the ground, and immediately put the defence of the Hawks on the back foot. They seem to run forward a lot harder than what the Hawks do at the moment.
Pretty happy with his contribution there, Pettard. 17-point Melbourne lead now in this third quarter. One against the flow there from the Demons, you would think, as Hawthorn have had most of the play in this first 8 minutes.
When you consider that Liam Jara's had just the one goal, their spread up in that forward line has been one of their great strengths. They've had 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 goal kickers.
Beautiful bounce from Razor Ray, and now the players converge from all directions. Now he attacked with the head there, so he won't get a free. Good decision by Ray Chamberlain. Deliberately drove his head into the opposition player to try and win that free. Common sense umpiring. Jamar Mitchell, the extractor in the contest, and here he is. Tapscott, the bull, they call him.
He's a player too. He was stiff last week not to get the Rising Star Award, the NAB Rising Star, and he's firing again today.
He is. He's a very impressive youngster. Rivers. Lyndon Dunn and Hodge. And that's probably a win for the Demons in that position of the ground.
What do you do with Hodge now? Do you try and throw him forward just to try and maybe pinch a couple of goals, or you just keep him floating as that quarterback across half-back?
I'm with Clarko on this one. Quarterback for mine. They've got that much talent up forward. They don't need any more.
Sylvia bursting out of the pack. Handball over the top. Lyndon Dunn goes inside. Here's Grimes. Pettard it is. A little 320 pirouette. Minor score. Come on last week in the last quarter as the activated sub Pettard and gave Melbourne great life in the legs. Suckling from full-back. Kick along the ground. Howell had to retrieve the ball off his toes. Now Gibson. Stratton. Careful with the ball now, Suckling. Good crowd in, certainly over 40,000 here today. Sunday evening football. First day of back to normal hours. No daylight saving today. Handball over the top. Savage goes inside with a handball. There's Lewis to Franklin on the lead. Deep in the pocket, Franklin.
Certainly for this one. He's missed them in front.
It's the toughest one for the day for him. Have a look at that. Wouldn't see a lot of goal face at all from where he sits. We see a bit there, but he's as far back as you can get on the perimeter piping. It's the old practice wicket area for those that have known the G for a long time. Lance Franklin pretending he's looking for something inside, knowing all along that he's going to aim for the tall ones. And there it is, straight over the top. Lance Franklin in a need.
He is a most unusual beast. He is a more certain shot for goal from the boundary line, Jono, than directly in front. Have you ever played with somebody like that?
No, never. To go back and just nail him then, the confidence to nail him from there is just outstanding. But he does it every single week, and look, you put him in front, he's likely to hook it and miss, but look at that, that's split the middle.
He has got that natural fade.
He knew as soon as he kicked it too that it was going through.
And that's why the Hawks are always an opportunity to win, because he can kick 4 or 5 in the space of a 15-minute period. We know that. They've got that much talent. There's another man, Cyril Rioli. Across the half, about 20 metres away, is Sean Burgoyne, who can devastate a side.
Kick 3 of the last 4, the Hawks. They're within 2 goals. There's the extractor, Mitchell. Yet another one out of the middle to Ladson. High ball to Rioli. Getting back this time, Bale, or Bartram it was. Careful with the ball here, the Demons.
Just 6 possessions since quarter time, Cyril.
Grimes had an electric first quarter. In the back pocket, Grimes, and sure what he was trying to do with that kick. He got low and hard, but it was always going to be a difficult kick to make. Here's a low ball. The Hawks get hold of it. And the mark here with the Hawks deep in the pocket again. It'll be Shields, or it is Shields with an opportunity here deep, just 5 metres inside from where Buddy was able to make it happen. The Hawks 2 goals down, kicked 3 of the last 4. Shields to make a goal the difference. In he comes. Won't be a goal. Osborne at the back did the defensive thing, and lucky for him, Melbourne players around Maloney. Davey brings it back out to the north side. Gee, that's great decision-making from Aaron Davey. That's a poor attempt to mark from Jeddah. Suckling from 51. Just goes bang on the left. Boy, that hurts.
He launched that one, Jono.
He launched it, that's for sure, but Jeddah just had to take that mark clean. He does that, Melbourne's away. And you get hurt these days. You make critical errors like this, the ball normally sails straight over your head and through for a goal.
Yeah, it was mopped up nicely, but geez, that ball just exploded off his boot. So the response has come. It's the question now whether the Demons can respond. Great game of footy, BT.
Yeah, very impressive indeed. Enjoying it. Hope you are at home. Hawks have kicked 3 goals to 1 in this quarter. Kicked 4 of the last 5 goals. They trail by a goal. Melbourne have lacked significant possession in the 11 minutes played in this quarter so far. Here's an opportunity for Jones to run under the loose ball. Need to keep it working forward. He went to ground far too easy. Now Sewell to half forward. 3 Melbourne players converge. Can they sort it out? Grimes went and got it. The others peeled off too early. Here's Jordan Lewis with a left-footed goal. Got a piece of the post. The other boys peeled off early. Now a free kick off the ball here. This is disastrous. It's going to Hawthorn. Bateman's got the free. Let's listen. Pushed him. Okay, so it's the goal stands, and they get another goal after the siren for a push. Rioli will kick the goal from the goal square.
He didn't kick a goal though, did he?
No, got the point.
Sorry, yes.
Jordan Lewis.
Yes, he did too.
So it's a 7-point play.
Sorry, I was thinking about the goal before. So it'll be a Rioli free kick directly in front. He converts. And all of a sudden, in a matter of minutes, the mood and the tide of this game has swung dramatically in the Hawks' favour.
It certainly has. The big turnaround here, and maybe it was the activation of the sub BT that has caused this. Jordan Lewis has come on and had 3 or 4 possessions, and the Hawks, since the sub, have kicked 3 goals 2 to the D's 1 goal 1.
But you're forgetting the point. The sub was activated because a guy was injured.
I think what it has done, boys, is it's made their forward line a lot quicker, and they can actually put some tackle heat on. They've had repeat inside 50s in this quarter. They're up to 10 inside 50s to 3 for the quarter. The Hawks well in front there. They haven't got that extra tall ruckman in Hale who it was in the first quarter, and then Renouf in that first half, I should say, resting forward.
Sit there with that smile, Brad Johnson, and try to whack me. Loading the bullets and firing them for Gerard Healy. Here's Nate Jones through the middle. A nice-looking ball presented out in front of Stephen Martin. Got both Dukes on it, couldn't pull it in. Gee, it's like trying to stop a train at the moment here. The Hawks, as they pound the ball forward yet again. Beautiful ball, Hale. He's got running support. Ladson's a ripping kick of the ball. No one deep. Had to wait, went sideways. Here's Lewis, activated as the result of injury, we believe. An opportunity, Grimes overran it. In goes Tapscott. The ball, Jones ran into the Sewell tackle. Ball pinned.
One bloke who's lifted, David Hale. For mine, they went in too slow, too big. And whether or not they did it on purpose, the activation, or because of injuries, irrelevant. At the moment, if they don't get another injury, they're winners.
Melbourne need to go back to that composure they showed in the second quarter. Just hold on to the ball for a couple of minutes, chip it around, maintain possession, and stop this
Franklin on the left boot around the corner, kicks the goal! Franklin's kicked a couple. Hawthorn have got 4 in a row. They lead it by 7 points.
Brilliant clearance. Just a couple of minutes of influence on the game, and Buddy Franklin has worked his magic. Don't ask him to kick one from straight in front, but ask him to do the impossible. He'll do it for you just about every time. Ignored the handball, and why wouldn't you on that side? He was on his left. He had a shot at the goal. And, well, the Hawks are there. This is really going to show you whether Melbourne are here. Because if they can fight back and win this one now, BT, this isn't just a normal victory where you get over the top and just run away. They're going to have to fight for this one.
Well, it began much like the first quarter, didn't it? Inside 50s, 11-4 in this quarter in favour of the Hawthorn. 15-9 it was in the first quarter. So what have the Demons got, as Gerard alludes to? We're about to find out. Here's Rioli, cutting through traffic. A little handball himself. Didn't quite have the clean hands to capitalise. Rough head, through some traffic, gave it off. Opportunity, snap it, goal. Just to the right-hand side, and a minor score there.
Shields again, just the left side of the post. Good effort. Great work from Rioli once again, though. Ball just didn't work for him. Could have been one of the goals of the year had it dropped up.
Brad Johnson, what do you do now if you're Melbourne? The ball goes out of bounds on the full. What are you trying to do now to stop this?
You just got to try and hold possession of the ball. Look, that's the only way you can slow this down. But they're trying to push numbers back and create, you know, all their pretty much 18 men inside Hawthorn's forward 50. But you've got to get possession of the ball and then hold on to it to slow things down. They proved they can do it in the second quarter.
Young plays on again. Gets plenty of purchase on the ball. Jamar's got his work cut out. Missed it in the flight. Off hands.
Just to clarify, Ryan, Renouf has got a whiplash of the neck, so he's out through injury.
Substitution activated. George Lewis in yet to see Marrick of Melbourne. Roughhead, a little nudge in the back. Here's Mitchell, the best extractor from stoppages in the game. Got it to Savage. Savage, a high ball. Won't be a goal. Difficult one for Tapscott to deal with, though. And he did well. So, we draw breath. 9-point Hawthorn lead. Plenty of time here. Still a good, well, 8 3/4 minutes in the game. As you can see from the clock. Hawthorn struggling to hang on, but you feel the danger for Melbourne is if Hawthorn kick the next goal, it's over. In this quarter, anyway.
And you look out there now, Hawks are pointing around everywhere, setting each other up. The defenders are all of a sudden found their voice to set up these structures.
And then, of course, be up to the Demons to find something from there on. Make some changes. A free kick's been awarded here.
There would go to Hale. Wouldn't be many more baffling free kicks in our game than the ones given for Ruckman tonight.
Hale with a chance, just deliberately pops it on the head. Here's Roughhead. Interrupted in his run. Green takes the mark.
Well, he was claiming pushed out, but even still, he's just got to be able to compete and get that ball to the ground, the big fellow.
8.5 minutes in the third. Here's Franklin, just came off the bench. Immediately has an impact. Now he's going around on the angle. That's play on umpire. He's taken 5 steps to the left.
Fast breaks on, but no one forward. They've got to get to speed.
Now the only one forward here is Jeddah. Is he going to take the risk? Bailey does. He says, I'll pop it over the head, but it won't get there. Mark taken in the end by Stratton.
Good player, this kid. It's a wasted opportunity there for Melbourne, though. Whenever you're that far under pressure, fast break is always on, and they had it open.
Birchall with Osborne. Osborne on that southern wing. Working his way through some traffic with the help of Gibson. Back to Osborne. Here's Franklin again. Got it. Long way out. Franklin plays on left foot. Roughead spearing ball. It was too hot for Ruffy to handle. A little right foot nurse at Asul. He's going to have to kick it in excess of 50. Play on. Handball's off. Birchall launches. Missed to the left. 10-point Hawthorn advantage.
Substitution, boys. We've got Marriage into the game now.
So Marrick comes off, and the player to go out, I think, may well have been Jetta. Not sure whether that's right or not. Kingy, you'll be able to confirm that.
Confirm that, Brian. Jetta out of the game, just putting the red vest on now.
This one looks more of a tactical one, would you say, Kingy? The fact that he just looks like he's out of gas.
Yeah, no issue. Certainly no injury there for Jetta. This is definitely tactical. They've lost control of this game, and they think that maybe the young man can give him some run.
Possessions this term, Jono, 80 to 44. Possessions don't mean everything, but combine it with 5-6 to 1-1, it's just been total domination.
Hasn't on the back of that.
No advantage here, surely. It was the advantage page. All the players are stopped. Now, the rule of the players having the advantage has certainly confused a lot. You can see the hold there against J-Mar. Some would say that some would say they're both in it, but
I think where it's got confusing is when the umpires don't pick up whether it's continuous play. Where it's broken play, and we've seen a couple of them, they've got to pull it back.
The thing for me, though, is that all the players stop, and it stops the flow of the whole thing. Roughhead, magnificent mark on the top of Rivers.
Well, that's why this guy can become one of the most influential players in the game. He's got the capacity to do this, particularly when Buddy's up the ground like he has been. It gives him extra space. Now, that's part of the job. The other one is the so-called easy bit.
Well, he's chucked the grass in the air. He's had a good look at it. You can see it sitting at home. We're going to ride it home with Jared Roughhead. Let's have a look. And there it is. Straight through the middle. Hawthorn extend the margin, nearing the three-quarter time break to 16 points.
They just can't get the ball out of their defensive end at the moment here, the Demons, and that press that the Hawks have applied has been magnificent in this term. That's the 16th inside 50 for the quarter. We've really only seen Melbourne counter-attack 2 or 3 times in 25 minutes.
And they're not winning it out of the centre, Kingy, either, so the pressure just goes from one bounce to the next.
I think that the move of leaving Roughhead and Franklin deep forward, whilst they've got this dominance, would be worthwhile. But he's still getting a lot of ball 50 to 60 from goal where he can't really hit the scoreboard. I think nearly time to the goal square for 5 minutes.
But the key issue was getting Hale out of the square, out of the forward line where he's slowing it up and putting no pressure on, and getting him into the centre. It was the same issue for them last week against Adelaide, and injuries, I think, forced their hand.
6 minutes remaining in the quarter. Sewell out of the middle. High ball down towards Rivers. They're under enormous pressure at the moment, the Melbourne defenders. There's Trengove. Green went hard. Shields wraps him up and got him too high. Now, what can they do, the Demons? Grimes goes extremely wide to Watts. And once again, Hawthorn will lock it in their forward end.
Well, it's just hitting targets, and that one was only a metre or so away, but it makes a big difference.
Have not been able to get the ball into the hands of Aaron Davey at all in this quarter.
No, it's been a great lockdown job.
An opportunity now in the ruck.
In fact, the clearances are killing them, BT. It's just one-way traffic at stoppages at the moment.
That man there is unbelievable. That the Mitchell got it off to Young. Young needs a bit more bend. And a miss.
Still burning some opportunities. That's 2 set plays from the left footers in particular. I mean, that was just an open flail, if you like, rather than taking some care. This isn't a match-winning lead by any means.
No, 17 points in the context of this game is not a lot, but the kick in once again, missing the target. Hawthorn are going to come back through Birchall. Centering ball to Suckling. Suckling a handball off to Hodge. Hodge a low ball. Did well, Davey. Knocked down. Pick up Bruce. Won't be the required journey. Lewis had to play on there. Support here for the Demons. Nate Jones is going to be under extreme pressure from Young, and he panicked a little. Picked up by Grimes. And they just can't get it past this position on the ground, Melbourne.
Got a wide player.
Hodge, under 5 remaining in the quarter. Osborne being completely outplayed right at the moment, Melbourne. Just absolutely possession football from the Hawks. Hodge with a nice ball. Finds Shields, who'll get another look.
I pity the side when the Hawks do get it right. They've had 6 goals, 7 this quarter. So they've got the ability, certainly, to kick 10 plus in a quarter when things go their way.
They're being beaten mentally at the present time, Melbourne. They've had plenty of loose ball across the deep back line, and yet the press has been so impressive that it's forced them to make poor decisions and poor executions with their feet.
Classic case of you'd love to have a basketball timeout here and address it, wouldn't you, if you're a coach? Shields.
Still leaving the door open, though, the Hawks. They could have buried the Demons in this term, and it's still a gettable margin.
All right, here's Aaron Davey from fullback. Let's see if he can make it work. He hasn't taken the last few kick-ins. That one straight down the middle. It actually drew Jones to the ball. He was slow out of the blocks, and Franklin's got hold of it now. Gives it off. An opportunity for Sewell to work it inboard. Back to Suckling. Left foot around the corner. Goal.
Well, Suckling has just been huge this quarter. He has absolutely dominated. He's had 8 disposals. He's kicked 2 goals, and he's been involved in 4 scoring involvements. Jono, that's a big quarter in anyone's language.
That's a fantastic quarter. A great interception there by Hale. And then, look, got the 1-2 here. Hale stayed in the contest and was able to kick a nice left-foot goal. But it's all over the ground at the moment for the Hawks. They've had 100-odd disposals to the Demons, nearly 50. It's just a stumbling them.
David King, what move are you making right now? If you're a Melbourne coach out there, what are you trying to say to your team? What do you want to implement?
I think first of all they need to get their hands on the ball at these clearance situations to get the game going into their forward half and not having to defend so much. But I'd be putting a loose man or 2 back right now to stem the bleeding.
Just for this last 3.5 minutes of the quarter. And then reassess. Here's Jones locked up in the tackle. It's a 24-point Hawthorn lead. Melbourne led, don't forget, at the 19-minute mark of the second quarter by 27 points when Trengove goaled. There's Roughhead. He's kicked a couple of goals, so has Buddy. Kick goes into the hands here of Burgoyne.
Correction on Suckling. We've just had an update. 13 possessions this quarter.
Burgoyne long ball in, and Rivers happy to concede the behind. Now, who's going to take the kick in? Look at them run. They all hand it over to Davey. So, got to get this right.
But they're still working individually in this zone. They're not trying to pair up. They're not trying to help each other out to create an easy out.
No movement in it at all. Grimes. And making his job really difficult and force him to just make that kick there. Kick it down the line to Jamar, who was caught short, and Roughhead could have marked it in the jukes, but guess what? They knock it out in that position of the ground, I reckon, for the 5th time in the quarter.
Well, Melbourne have got to start winning some contested ball to stoppages. They just have been slaughtered.
Well, here's a chance for them to go forward. Jamar will get the free for a hold in the ruck, and Melbourne have...
Well, they've had their confidence sapped, so no one's running hard forward. We saw them a totally different team 25 minutes ago.
Down to a walk now, Gerard. An absolute walk. Individual efforts like that are okay. Maloney off to Bennell. Bennell puts a high one in. Pettard couldn't get there. Gibson under Marrick. Pressure now. Marrick did really well with the tackle. A dispossessing one. Pettard taken over the line. And look at Razor Ray on the perimeter piping in the perfect position for an umpire. And we'll throw it in. 2 minutes and 13 seconds in the quarter. Martin takes it out of the ruck. Got foot on ball. First, second time. Pettard, that was a little throw, I thought. Jurra needs to knock it out. Pettard sucked it in. You've got to get rid of it or you're going to be pinged here.
Geez, he was generous there, right?
Yep. Have a look at this for a ball in the chops. Bang. Oh, Pettard. And now a really important stoppage for Melbourne. Martin knocks it to space, but Hawthorn own that space. Davey went without it. The pressure from Osborne. Now Young.
It was Davey versus Ford.
No one thought of Rioli here and Franklin. They're the two most forward players on the ground. You can see them there. Look at that magnificent shot. Here's Franklin. The run, and more run. Missed.
Well, I'd just love to have a replay of the work that Chance Bateman did, the unrewarded work. He ran from the centre square. He did a 100-metre sprint. He got no reward, but he was there, and he's done it probably 35 times today.
That's the best picture I've seen on TV of what confronts players running down the ground when there's nothing forward of them. Magnificent shot it was. Here's Suckling, the dangerous one, as Gerard has alluded to. Knocked down from Bateman, picked up by Osborne. That's bouncing pretty damn good as well. Goodness me! Another one for the Hawks.
Well, work rate must have been the main focus that was brought up at half-time by Alistair Clarkson, because every player to a man out there tonight in this third quarter has lifted their work rate for the Hawthorn Football Club. And you said it before, Chance Bateman with his unrewarded running, but it's right across the whole board. Rioli, Franklin, it's the leaders within this side that have set the example for the younger players.
Game-high margin of 32 points. Have a look at this. Melbourne have got 5 in there. Jones comes in and gets them together, and he sends Aaron Davey out the wing.
Let's take a look bottom screen. There he is, Chance. Now, he would have already done about his 12 kilometres already today. And look at that. That's not just jogging. He is absolutely busting his guts. Doesn't get reward, but that's the role he plays in the side. Give an option and just do the hard kilometres.
And didn't complain about the non-give. Back in the middle, 1 minute and 3 remaining. They have kicked the last 7 goals straight, Hawthorn. 7 straight. Burgoyne paddles for Savage. A bit of a mix-up between he and Bateman. Burgoyne with the shrugging tackle, back to Savage. Inboard Shields, who's getting plenty of it.
But it's really what he's required now, Jono, from the boys in the blue and the red there. Have got to start finding some runners. Well, got to win the footy first, and then they've got to start working hard.
Well, we've got the benefit from sitting up high, but that last centre bounce, all their forwards were still back inside their forward 50. Just maybe a bit of leadership and get a couple up just to try and block things up a little bit and change the structures, just to allow yourself a chance to get back into the game at some point, or slow what Hawthorn are able to do.
Garland, another one out on the full from that position. Here's Hale to Franklin. He's taken that mark. And guess what? It's on his favoured left side.
This must be a nightmare for Dean Bailey. We were here last year, BT. I think it was round 1. Might have been round 2. But it was exactly the same end. It was exactly the same position. Melbourne started off and just got hammered because they couldn't get the ball out of there to fish.
Round 1, you're right, Gerard. Yep. Exactly. Here is Franklin, opens up the arc, and it's that easy for Lance. Just a miss by a whisker. And they've enjoyed the quarter. That'll be it for the quarter. A 32-point Hawthorn lead. Or is it 33? 33, I think it will be. A 33-point Hawthorn lead, biggest lead of the game here at three-quarter time. Magnificent Hawthorn quarter. They kicked 7 straight, got 8 for the quarter, and they lead comfortably over the Demons. Have the Demons improved? Are they going to respond? A quarter of football remains for us to find out.
When you can push Buddy Franklin up the ground and Roughhead up the ground and have Sean Burgoyne playing deep or even at a centre-half forward position where he's situated right now.
Yes, Hawthorn played Collingwood in round 15. Fair way off.
I think you're right there, Kingy. What they've shown in that quarter, they did, but the difference will be is when they come up against a side like Collingwood, being able to do that consistently for a whole game. The biggest thing for me as well was their efficiency. We spoke at half-time about how they let themselves down. 75% for that third quarter.
I think it's around round 15 before they actually meet Collingwood, so it's a fair way off. Well, that might be the Hawks. Here's Rioli out of the middle as An opportunity now for Burgoyne. Stumped the ball on his foot, went and got it, ran away, pushed off. Goal for Burgoyne at the punt road end to open it up and start it off.
That was an amazing party trick.
39-point lead, the Hawks.
His first touch there was by his boot, and he flipped it up to himself. It was a nice, easy clearance, which is not what the Demons would have wanted at this early part of the quarter. Have a look at this.
Oh, look at that.
That is...
Man United would have been pretty happy with that first touch.
No, he wouldn't have been able to do that. That is a Burgoyne special. And just easy tackles, broken.
So a very impressive start from the Hawks. 39 points now.
Pretty powerful move when you can push Buddy Franklin up the ground and Roughhead up the ground and have Sean Burgoyne playing deep or even at a centre-half forward position where he's situated right now.
Yes, Hawthorn played Collingwood in round 15. Fair way off. Back in the middle, and that would be the last thing they're thinking of. And out of the middle is Jamar. High ball's one to the city end to which the Demons are kicking in this quarter. Marrick. A mishit there. Rioli now to Franklin, looking for running support from behind. Got it in Osborne. Osborne to Rioli. Franklin's going to go again here. Rioli gets onto it inside. He looked a little tired as he went to kick the rough head. Here's Frawley. Or Rivers it was. Rivers back to Green. Green needs to win the ball, and Hawthorn set up the triangle. And away they go with a flurry of handballs. Mitchell to Bruce. Gillum. Trying to find a way through the Hawks. 12 goals, 24. What could have been if they'd kicked straight. The Hawks. Bruce to Franklin, who's certainly getting on his bike in this game. Trying to charge through there was Tapscott. Nailed in the Ladson tackle.
I think we're entitled to look for a response from the Demons here, BT. But it's okay, you can go down in the mine for a quarter. It's part and parcel of being a young, growing team, but they need to respond, I think, for their own respect in this competition. They need to do something in this 30 minutes.
Sewell not looking good for any sort of turnaround just at the moment, because here come the Hawks again, and another opportunity. Shields does it again. Magnificent stuff from the Hawks.
Certainly was, BT, and look, the D's are just a bit reactive then, a bit slow to move second to the ball, and the other difference being that how clean Hawthorn have become once the ball has hit the deck. You'll see here just clean hands, one touch, great give, and another good dribble goal.
I think they need to do something with Brad Green here, boys. He's at full forward at the moment, or finding his way back down to the goal square. Now he needs to come up as a leader of this club and be given a role across half-back or potentially even in the midfield, just so he can inject himself into this game.
Well, they've got so many youngsters on all lines, Kingy. I think it's a fair point. You're well down on the scoreboard. Ball hasn't come out of the centre for eon, it would seem, and go forward with any sort of purpose.
Jamar elevated very nicely. Maloney was held in the tackle, had time to look at where he needed to get the ball. Just away from Marrick. Here's an opportunity for Marrick. Went in and got the handball. Maloney knocked it down. And now Hawthorn are going to go forward yet again. Shields got the ball on the inside. Over the head of Young. Now Frawley. Trengove. Rivers. And Maloney combining out of defence. Haven't used their foot skills for a long time, and that's an unusual kick from Sylvia. Jarrah went high, but without great authority. Over the back it comes. There's Bennell around the corner, and Melbourne get one. A much, much needed one from the Demons.
I think I've noticed with Jarrah, Jared, this game, and never really seeing him live before, is that he will jump at him, and he's got that licence to jump, but if he's going to do that, he at least needs to get his hand on the ball. If he just doesn't, he gives away a couple too many free kicks in terms of jumping and just taking the opposition out of the contest. With that, his teammates will be expecting, at least if he's not going to mark it, to bring the ball to the front so it can make it a bit more predictable for them.
Been pretty much a one-trick pony today, which is jumping high and jumping for the spec. He got one goal out in front, but Hard to be critical of the full forward line, Brian, when it's just not been down there that much this match.
Haven't had a lot of it. First goal for Melbourne since the 7-minute mark of the third quarter when Pettard was able to goal at that punt road end. Back to a 39-point margin now. Here's Bale. He's had a pretty good game, Bale, especially in the first half. Bateman starting to get some run in this one as well. And he finds Rioli. I think lost it in the lights. Could be the only explanation for that. Just missed Burgoyne on the kick. G. Young did well to keep it alive off his toes. Really good pickup. Bartram. Garland took a bit of a wild swipe with the hands and missed the ball completely. And thus Hawthorn are still in the hunt. Here's Burgoyne. Can he weave his magic here? Somehow got a kick away. 2-on-1 for the Demons. Did well, Rivers. Oh. Impressive it was from Rivers. Kick to Bennell, tight, he got the run here, strong through the middle, they can go, Sylvia, kick is good, waited for Dunn nicely, Marks, thought about playing on Dunn. Will go back and kick it.
An issue down here, boys, for Colin Garland at centre-half back. Looks like some sort of lower leg injury, might be a knee or an ankle in the right leg there.
Yep, being helped off for the trainers. For Garland, one of their key defenders. To be a sort of a right leg injury there. Lyndon Dunn, the moustached Lyndon Dunn, a rather unusual beast of a thing it is, from directly in front. Kicks the goal. Melbourne have got 2 in a couple of minutes here. They get the margin back to 33. Not insurmountable.
And Jared, is that the type of response that you're searching for?
Well, more across the board. I reckon that was like a fast break. Everybody got involved. It was the people that won the ball. I love Rivers' work. That's the sort of response. If you have a look at Rivers, that was a one-on-one battle.
Oh, that looks a bit medial. The way he strained that on the inside of the knee there, Jared. You're the physio amongst us, but it didn't look good for Garland.
And that's what they're testing right there, BT.
Just having a look at the inside of the knee, which is the medial ligament that runs, and the doctor trying to work out how much movement in that knee and whether that movement is normal. Dunn kicks his second.
What they need to address is this centre clearances. It's been one-way traffic since half-time.
Roughhead into the ruck. Here's an opportunity for Davey. Just couldn't keep the ball rolling in front. A desperate Sewell was able to cut it off. And this is better. Very good. Tapscott, impressive. Just loves punishment, this guy, doesn't he?
He knows how to get the footy and generally knows how to deliver it.
Melbourne again going forward. Not out of it yet. Trent Gove has got the ball on the half-forward line. Martin wanted it. He's going to go on a more direct route as Trent Gove. Bennell was sitting there as well over the back. It's a foot race here. Pettard. Roughhead. And that's a good spot for Melbourne to start a game.
Garland's gone downstairs, boys. I don't think we'll see Colin Garland again tonight.
And Buddy just comes straight back onto the ground to double the trouble.
Over the back, Jamar Bale. Kick around the body. Another one here from the Demons would make it real interesting because they will have got him in quick time. And here's a golden opportunity. Brilliant smother in the end from Birchall. Jones. Bateman and Shields. Geez, been good Shields, and so has Bateman. Free kick off the ball will mean that Hawthorn can take the advantage. Ladson. Tapscott.
Did well, Ladson there. Tapscott should learn from that. Just the body position. Lots of lessons coming for the young kid. But, geez, he has started his career well.
He looks sore, but he's showing no signs of wanting to have a spell. Martin again kicks wide to Watts. A difficult ball. Watts kept his feet. Couldn't get back to it, though. Handball by Bruce. Miss Stratton.
It's been these 1%ers in the second half that have got Hawthorn back into it. Just a great smother, great commitment at the boot. Terrific play by Birchall.
Hasn't there been a couple of those rippers this round of footy? The West Coast Eagles for mine built their victory on some 1%ers, a couple of smothers. Waters in particular, I think, effectively won them the game.
Yep, that was a brilliant act, wasn't it? Here's Bartram into the middle. Jarrah's got to steal it, and he does. Look at the Hawthorn players surrounding him, and here they go. As a result of the turnover, Suckling, Mitchell. Ever alert, Mitchell says nothing downfield, so we'll just possess the ball across the middle. Sewell sees the vacant Young. Minutes remaining in the game here. He's out of bounds on the full, and you're going to start looking at the clock, I reckon. Melbourne in another 3 or 4 minutes. They need to score inside that, give themselves some sort of chance.
I'm talking about John Owe's work rate. I reckon at all the kick-ins, particularly in the third quarter, it was stationary Melbourne's options up the ground, and once again, where was the movement there? They were giving the kid with the football absolutely no options whatsoever.
We've mentioned that a few times throughout the game, especially in the first quarter when they were under pressure from the Hawks as they go inside 50 to Buddy. And it was the second quarter when they played that bit of run through there and maybe linked up through handball and got the ball back on the 45 through the middle that allowed them to get forward and get that overlap and get the ball deep and create a score.
Buddy Franklin looking for his third goal. By the way, Jamar dominating the ruck. 26 headouts. Hale and Renouf have 15 combined. Somehow the Hawks lead the clearances comfortably, though, as a result of that. Sharking the ball. Franklin for his third goal. From the way is out of bounds on the full.
I think, boys, what this does do is reinforce that Aaron Davey will be tagged every week of this year. He's had 2 disposals in the second half, and they haven't looked like counter-attacking with any potency at all, Melbourne.
And that's the problem that Dean Bailey has got. He's got to find some other options other than Aaron Davey. One-dimensional sides go nowhere.
Yep, he was electric. But his foot use in that first half,
yes, that was clever.
Kingy says, hasn't been given the ball at all as Birchall fronts the goal and misses to the right.
I think, Kingy, the issue is the output they're getting from their midfield group. If they can't get the sufficient numbers of attacking weapons as the fullback continues to go over the line, it's going to be left to attack off half-back. And as you said at the start of the game there, that's pretty much their only option at the moment.
Yeah, and they haven't been able to lock their ball in their forward half at all in this second half, and that's been an issue that the clearances they have won, they haven't cashed in from, and when they've gone inside their forward 50, it's come out far too quick. So it's twofold at the moment, the problem, but just not enough contributors, not enough work rate, as you say.
There's a kid called Tom Scully, BT, who is exactly what they need to get back into the side.
This guy kicks it straight, already got a couple. Hawthorn looking to land one of their killer blows here. 45 metres out, just a tiny bit of angle about it. In he comes. He liked it off the boot, and he's got 3, Burgoyne.
Well, he's done well, Burgoyne. A bit of a pinch hit up forward, started there, floated into the midfield, got himself into the game, and has been able to finish with some pretty nice work today. Kicked pretty straight, kicked 3 goals, and done some nice work inside forward 50 when Franklin's gone up the ground onto a wing.
Tap's got there, you see, going over the line on his kick-in, as Jared mentioned, and not all that accurate with that kick-in, and thus giving Burgoyne the opportunity to kick his third, which he duly converted. Starting to put some games together now, Sean Burgoyne.
Here's Colin Garland. Difficult to know where he's at with his injury, but at least he's sitting on the bench and not down in the dugout. So I guess the question is where the Demons are at the present time. We know, having seen them in the first half, that when they mature and probably get another couple of options through the middle of the ground, they've got the strike power to be frightening. It's a question where they're at right now, Brian. Have you got a thought?
Well, they've got Brisbane and Gold Coast in consecutive games coming and then a bye. So if confidence can do something for them and they can get a couple of wins there against teams that we think are going to feature in perhaps the bottom 6, then that's a start for them. And then they've got a bye.
Are those games in Melbourne, Brian?
Both of them, one in Melbourne, one at the Gabba.
Okay.
So Brisbane and Melbourne and Gold Coast at the Gabba. And as I say, then the bye, and then they've got West Coast at Patterson. So really the next 3 games are very, very winnable for Melbourne, according to where they're at now. So although a vitally important game, this one, to prove to the footballing public and more importantly themselves that they can compete with the best, they still do have a very good opportunity to resurrect their season over the next 4 weeks. Pretty positively as well. Bale, Marrick, a bounce, no one in front of him, he's got to take the man on. Couldn't kick it, there was no one there, he does. A little right foot bender, looks damn good from Marrick. Just missed. Adam Marrick. Another one out of the Calder Cannons footy factory with Marty Ellison and Ian Kite down there.
Great crowd turned up tonight.
Yep, 49,905, Gerard, an exceptional Sunday evening crowd for these two sides. Really, really strong crowd, that. Suckling, Hale. Just giving it back to Josh, to Franklin it is, in fact, to Josh Gibson. And now Hodge. Look a lot better with him there, don't they? Combined with this man, Gibson. Left footer. Wasn't taken forward by Dunn, and a golden opportunity missed by him there.
Just got to be a bit careful with that kick. It was pretty much telegraphed against one of the better sides. A couple of those All-Australian halfbacks coming off against Collingwood, that would have been intercepted.
Big Harry O gets that. That's all over.
The brute. Sylvia. Gillen looks back inboard and finds Gibson to give him another chance. This time he settles for the handle to Mitchell, and now Franklin at the end of the chain. And he goes extremely wide looking for Burgoyne. Birchall wanted it. And they go back. So just milking a bit of time off the clock here with 8:17 left. Trying to reduce any chance of a Melbourne revival.
I think we underestimate the importance of Clinton Young in this team for the Hawks. He's had 11 inside 50s today, and he's such a loss for this side when he's not in the team. He's obviously got a long left leg in terms of his kicking use, but his run and carry is something they lack.
Yeah, I wonder why a side like Melbourne can't hang off him like they opposition hang off Davey Kingy.
Yeah, exactly right. 11 inside 50s is an enormous amount of forward thrust. He's kicked the 3 behinds today, so hasn't been as damaging as he possibly could, but a fit Burgoyne and a fit Clinton Young make this side very effective.
Stack of players around the ball. How far Kingy off their best side are the Hawks, do you think?
Look, I think they haven't really clicked today. That's the funny thing. Forward of centre, they've had a lot of ball, but 14 goals, 25. This could have been anything today. We forget that they were 27 points down at one stage.
Yep. Franklin trying to rearrange the back there of Maloney. And out of bounds here. Ray Chamberlain. In fact, a free kick to Maloney.
I think the other issue, Kingy, along the lines of Aaron Davey, is it was only when they locked up Cyril Rioli in the second quarter, Melbourne, did they get on top. When he released and exploded again in the third quarter, so too did Hawthorn. It wasn't one man, I know, but he was certainly important.
Yeah, I guess the thing there is Hawthorn had other options other than Cyril when he was out of action, didn't they? Whereas Melbourne haven't. There's Sylvia, Jara, double team. Gillam got back and supported Stratton there. Marrick, a beautiful win of the ball, spun out of the pack. It was well done by Marrick, a good hard ball win. It ends with a Jara shot along the ground that he duly converts. Well done, Adam Marrick. Liam Jara scores. And Melbourne have kicked 3 of the last 4 goals.
Not sure about you, Jono, but I reckon 10 minutes ago, when the result was probably not in doubt, I would have liked to have seen Jack Watts stuck in the back line. I think he's got an enormous capacity to add to Melbourne down there because he's a good thinker and he's a good decision maker and he's a very good kick. And I think that can, when Colin Garland came off, for mine for his development, give him some game time down there because one day he will need it.
I don't mind the call on the fact that with an injury coming off, with Garland coming off, potentially try it then, but majority of his time he's going to be spent down there and he's going to have to work through situations like this at times. So he could get learning at both ends tonight, that's for sure.
So the expected good form of many of the good judges putting Hawthorn in their top 4 this year looks like it's now back on track and away. Gladson, Burgoyne in front there, and Stephen Martin.
I think they've got another runner. Young Suckling is maybe it's his best game. Haven't seen all of his games, obviously, but would have to be close.
Franklin took it out of the ruck and immediately let go of the ball. Through to Brad Green here. Have you seen Greeny's game today, Jono?
Oh, look, he's racked up about 15 disposals, had a couple of goals, but look, he hasn't been that dominant in terms of what he normally does. Last week, he was one of the reasons why they were able to get back in the game and get a draw with the Swans. He just hasn't had enough delivery for one. Been stuck in the forward line a bit, dried up, and then he's just battled to find his way back into the game.
Decision by Davey to switch the play over to the northern side. We'll see a Martin kick go to Bartram. Bartram, a little chipping ball over the top to Bennell, who sort of half went at it in the air, and now Lewis. Burgoyne will get an opportunity for his 4th goal. Won't have any trouble with the journey. The wind has dropped a little, but still will affect the kick for Sean Burgoyne.
What's the update on Renouf, if you can get a chance, Kingy, please?
He's just sitting down here, boys. He's had the whiplash effect, Dr. Conmetropoulos told us, so he'll be fine for next week, I'd suggest, Jared, but no good today.
Dr. Conmetropoulos, so a defection from the North Melbourne doctor for a long time, Kingy. I think maybe even when you were there, Conmetropoulos was a North Melbourne doctor. You're saying he's now at Hawthorn?
Yes, a big move in the off-season, Brian.
Oh, boy.
I wonder if that was his calling.
Gee.
What number did he go in the draft?
Conmetropoulos loves getting out there in the shorts. Here's a mark by Osborne.
He's regarded as a first-round draft pick in the medical fraternity, Brian, isn't he?
Absolutely. He's a high first-rounder. Or a low first-rounder, depending on which way you want to look at it. Anyway, he's good at what he does. There's Osborne. Punt road end. No trouble there. And he's gold. So Hawthorn kicked yet another, and it's now in front of 49,905 people. A lead of some 40 points.
And Osborne's the one who's gone on to Davey to try and nullify his run in this second half, and now he's starting to cash in as well with how much possession the Hawks are having.
The other big bonus, boys, is they've been able to nurse Luke Hodge through this game. He's only played the 15 minutes of this last quarter, and it looks like he's just having a rest now. It's been a real luxury for him to be able to get through this game in a soft wind.
Yeah, that is a very valid point, David King. Their leader, their on-field leader, their quarterback. He is so good in so many areas. In the middle, Bennell. No one home at all for the Demons. Look at the run of Birchall. He wanted to go straight, but forced to go wide with the kick now. Savage.
Kingy, Give me your thoughts on the correlation between the activation and the turnaround in the Hawthorn form. Clearly it wasn't, you know, cause and effect completely, but how much do you think it was?
Well,
a couple of horrendous mistakes there.
Well, they did coincide, because I think as they snap a goal here.
Burgoyne kicks it. Goal number 4 for Sean Burgoyne. Horrendous was the right word. Burgoyne capitalises. And Hawthorn really enjoying this last quarter of footy.
Renouf come off at the 18-minute mark of the second quarter, Jared, and that was virtually when they got going. You'd have to say from that point on, it was pretty much plain sailing. I think structurally it changed their mix-up forward. It made them unpredictable. It also gave them more pressure for the Demons to be under when they were exiting, and that was, as we saw in the third term, the reason why they had 25 inside 50s, because the ball just kept coming back in, and eventually it took its toll.
I guess the question I'm asking you is, would it have been a good decision, despite the risk of injury, to have activated anyway, or should Clarko have just taken him off the ground and put him on the bench anyway?
Well, maybe it's a learning experience for Clarko as well, and the other coaches are probably just finding their feet with this substitution rule, whether it's a tactical thing or just there for injury.
Hawks have kicked 5-5 from set shots since half-time. Prior to that, they kicked 0-5. So that part of their game has sharpened up a little. And they can find even some more sharpness about that. Here's Bateman. Really got going when Hawks needed his run.
I think the bottom line with it is, if you are in front, it's only ever going to be only ever going to be injury, and if you're behind, the scoreboard gets ugly, well, then you've got a decision to make.
Merrick launches a long bomb, which has got a nice bounce for Lyndon Dunn. Now, there's no one forward to him at all. He gives it off and he tries to get forward himself. Merrick tries to thread the impossible needle amongst 3 Hawthorn players, and just no one forward for the Demons. Beautiful kick by Young to Suckling.
Let's just give him the ball back. Adam Merrick needs to get better than that, Jono. You can't just give cheapies away like that.
No, you can't. Just need to compose. You just need to probably swing around. I know U-turns aren't big in footy these days. Just need to probably do one and just go back, maybe just chip it towards the middle of the ground. He had some teammates just floating through there instead of trying the impossible kick to Dunn 3-on-1.
No U-turns may well be a theory of an era that's just gone, and sometimes you have to U-turn, hold the football.
Yep, definitely.
Time ticking down here. Bateman.
I think the D's have to address the use of Liam Jarrah. I don't think he's the player that they need him to be up in the midfield or certainly across the half-forward line. I think he's a full forward specialist.
Yeah.
He needs to be left in the square so he can come at the ball and at least give them an option.
He's not a traffic man. He loves the one-on-one contest, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Young, little chip, had too much journey on it for rough head. Frawley. He's back in. He'll be better for the run today, James Frawley. Jones combining in the middle there, and he's got Liam Jarrah wide if he wants, but he goes wider to Rivers. The run of Bartram. Around Gibson pretty easy in the end. Jack Watts says, what do I do here? Back to Bartram. Rivers says, kick it long and kick it deep, and he does that now. Getting back for the double team was Gillum. Around the corner, Pettard. And a minor score.
Well, since half-time, Jared, 26 scoring shots to 6. Inside 50s, a massive 41 to Hawthorn, 11 to Melbourne.
Yeah, it's been a complete reverse of the second quarter, but I think Melbourne supporters and the rest of the competition will still remember how good Melbourne were in that second term.
Definitely.
And that's their upside. The great challenge is to reproduce it 3 quarters out of 4, not 1 quarter out of 4.
Yeah, 5 goal to 1 quarter they had Melbourne in that second quarter. For those that have just joined us, it was sparkling footy, and
I mean, not every step is up when you're climbing a mountain. You've got to go up, you go down, you get your wounds, and you come back and have another crack. And that's going to be Melbourne's task, how well they respond to this whacking.
Siren sounds, and it is a Hawthorn 45-point victory, their first win of the year. They would be much relieved. Alistair Clarkson there on the bench, and now they can start the journey in earnest. All other clubs should beware because the Hawks played some very, very impressive footy. David King is down there with the leader of the Hawks, Luke Hodge.
It's Luke, your thoughts, mate? Fantastic. Welcome back to football.
Yeah, it ended up being a nice margin, but tell you what, we wasted a few opportunities. I guess we're lucky to still be in the game going in during the third quarter, but the boys finished off quite well.
What do you put the turnaround down to? What actually was it? Was it tactical? Was it intensity? Was it just a lift in work rate from your boys? What was it?
I think the way we moved the ball. When you go into half-time 3-13, it's a bit disappointing, but we still kicked a lot of points, but we got a few more scoring options, and we seemed to kick a few more late.
And you got through the game well, mate? Nothing to report? No issues at all?
And I got through. Don't know about the fitness, but got through.
Well done. Congratulations.
Pretty happy with himself, the Hawthorn skipper there, and why not? First game back in the big time, and Hawks have collected their first victory of the year. They played Richmond at the MCG next week, and then West Coast had a roar up in the next 2 weeks. And for the Melbourne Footy Club, they've got Brisbane at the MCG next week, and then Gold Coast at the Gabba, followed by a bye.
John, it was an interesting day for Cameron Bruce. He was nervous early, fumbled a few times, had lots of handballs, but very few kicks. Then in the third quarter, he kicked a goal that just about got them started on their run, and it got him started. And
It got his season started. There's no question about that. And you're right. Look, it would have been tough. He played so much footy for the Melbourne Football Club, and he would have been that nervous. It would have been like playing his first game again. The type of nerves that he would have been going through. But you're right. It was the goal that got him going, and in the end, he had a pretty good game.
Let's go back down to David King. He's with Matt Suckling.
Oh, another boy from Wagga, boys. They just keep churning out the footballers up there, mate. Congratulations. Fantastic game.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's good to get a win. Slow start, kicking inaccurate, but it's good to see the win.
Did you love that goal, that big hook round the corner from about 55? Run us through that.
Oh, I've had a few shots over the years, and it's just good to get through, yeah.
Well, it was a fantastic turnaround today. What do you put that down to? What does it, the coach's address at half-time, or what do you put that down to?
We were just going a bit quick. First half, we just slowed down, a bit more composure in the second half, and just chopped our way through the middle, which is better.
Well, you cemented yourself a spot now, mate. Your things are going along quite nicely. Look out for the Hawks in 2011.
Yeah, we'll string a few together, it'd be good.
Good on you, mate. Well done. Congratulations.
Matty Suckling had a very, very impressive game. You heard Gerard Healy mention several times that he was a fine player for the Hawks today. Picks up the obligatory ball, and we'll give that off. There's we think a reasonably happy Jeff Kennett, the president of the Hawthorn Footy Club.
He'll be pretty happy underneath it all. He has promised to revisit wearing the jacket inside out, BT. And I know we shouldn't get ahead of ourselves, but you can't help presidents. They can tend to go down that track.
A fine, fine victory today it was for the Hawks in front of 49,905. They won it by 45, 11-26, 122 to Melbourne 12-5-77. Gerard Healy and Brad Johnson will be back on the other side of the break to wrap this one up.